Chapter 5690 greeted countless air waves and rushed straight up. Hit Jian Wushuang with a punch. He now has the upper hand. Jian Wushuang at this time was not an opponent at all. Under the crazy attack, Jian Wushuang completely gave up the defense. Jiao Zuo's battle situation caused everyone watching the battle to take a breath. They can also see that Jian Wushuang's divine power has begun to decline. And Shi Jiao's divine power is constantly rising. What's going on? Mu Chen exclaimed. Isn't Shi Jiao who used the restriction? Not only him, but Wu Li is also very puzzled. It was Ming Shi Jiao who used the power of restraint. After such a long time, Shi Jiao was not weakened by backlash, but Jian Wushuang's divine power kept declining. Now Jian Wushuang's recovery speed can't keep up with the consumed supernatural power. Shi Han's eyes were hot, and he said excitedly, how could it be so simple for the pinnacle treasure made by the fifth master? Jian Wushuang is about to lose. The three emperors who were defeated before have now recovered a bit of aura, staring at the two on the battlefield, shaking their heads and sighing. They thought that Jian Wushuang would win, but they didn't expect Shi Jiao to make a comeback. But the two people in the barrier now can accept whoever wins. Because of their strength, they have exceeded what they can see. Even everyone has heard of it, Great Priest. After all, they have never seen it before. This time they saw from the beginning to the end. The two super emperors fought desperately. The supernatural power has soared from the 130,000 entry point to 200,000. Are you going to lose? Empress Fengqian was not optimistic about Jian Wushuang either. She originally thought that Jian Wushuang could definitely win, but now Shi Jiao is getting stronger in the battle, and she is not subject to any restrictions. Jian Wushuang is getting weaker and weaker, and there is no chance. Unless there is a whole card. The eldest princess Jin Chen behind the screen is the most excited. Snapped. She broke open the screen and rushed out. Stood on the edge of the barrier, looking at Shi Jiao excitedly. This kind of scene, no matter who it is, will be moved. My sweetheart sacrificed his life for myself. In order to marry her, Shi Jiao paid a lot. The empress saw this scene and thought of it. Is not blocking either. Because once Jian Wushuang loses, she has no excuses. It was the promise she made at the beginning, so she couldn't go back on it. If that's the case, I'm afraid Shi Jiao will come in person. When the time comes, it will not be reasonable, but it will lose the general trend. Boom! With a muffled sound, Jian Wushuang's left arm was completely broken. That is, the left arm fused with the arm of the candle dragon, was broken abruptly by Shi Jiao. The blood is pouring down the wound. Jian Wushuang's supernatural power dropped directly by about 10,000. Now his supernatural power is only about 160,000. Shi Jiao took the arm that had just been torn from Jian Wushuang in one hand, did not take the opportunity to attack again, but stopped and stared at Jian Wushuang and said, if you lose, if you continue to compare, you will be divided into life and death. Jia. Jian Wushuang held the wound with one hand and let out a gloomy weird smile. This is the first time someone has pity on him. Admit defeat? He has never thought of surrendering in the face of the same rank. It's time to end. Jian Wushuang gave a wry smile. Originally wanted to drag and try, but found that he couldn't consume the other party at all. Then there is no need to hold on. Your strength is very strong, and your foundation is definitely much higher than mine. If I didn't have the treasure from my grandfather, I would have lost it long ago. Shi Jiao did not forget to comfort Jian Wushuang at this time. Jian Wushuang straightened up, a surging life force spread, and his lost arm grew out in an instant. It's just that the divine power has not increased. There is no need for that anymore. Even if it is restored to 190,000 times, it doesn't make any sense. Moved his arms a bit, Jian Wushuang let out a sigh of relief, and his whole body relaxed. You are wrong about this. My supernatural power is actually not as good as you. Jian Wushuang shook his head. For the control of divine power, he originally thought that there should be no gap with the opponent. Now it seems that he guessed wrong. There is still a gap. After all, the opponent has been majoring in supernatural power since childhood. How could it be better than the other party? This is Guyu time and space, a super time and space river. that is countless times stronger than the original Mora time and space. Temple of Qi is not enough to see here. What he saw was nothing more than the inheritance left by a half-step 8 tribulation realm. Guyu time and space, even the 9 tribulations realm appeared. How could it be comparable to the Temple of Qishan? In this time and space, even if there is an emperor who is stronger than Jian Wushuang, it is not surprising. In 10,000 years, Jian Wushuang was actually quite disappointed with Guyu time and space. Until today he didn't feel a trace of fun. There was a war intent in his heart. Only an ancient wood continent, a super emperor like Shurjiu appeared. Moreover, the opponent's strength is probably not the strongest emperor in Gumu continent, and there are even more powerful Tianjios in Shurgua. The core disciple of the emperor in the ancient wood school is not weak. This is only the ancient wood continent. 9 days and 10 places he hasn't walked again yet. There are countless Emperor Tianjiao. You can't just hear about it. That is not accurate. Like Shurjiu in front of him. At first they thought that the opponent's strength was only 130,000. Now it has exploded to 200,000. The great priest who has lived for several generations may have a deeper background. Maybe even he is not an opponent. As long as you haven't played against each other, you can't be sure that the opponent is weaker than him. Jian Wushuang thought he would be number 1 at first. Now he doesn't have that confidence. But he has the confidence to hit the first position. Outside the barrier, when everyone saw Jian Wushuang's breath sink, their complexions changed. Although there was still a glimmer of hope in their hearts, they had to give up when they saw Jian Wushuang. And they couldn't help sighing. Wu Li also has a solemn expression, sighed inwardly. Brother Wushuang, you should show your real strength. It's over, Wushuang nephew will give up. It's already very good. With such strength, your Yu country can fully absorb and enter the core, and your future achievements will not be weaker than those of Shurgua's top talents. Shi Han's expression was indifferent, because Shurjiu was about to defeat Jian Wushuang. So naturally he became very relaxed. And he still has plans in his heart. If Yu Kingdom does not absorb Jian Wushuang into the core, then he will personally pick up Jian Wushuang to go to Shi Kingdom. Enter the core of the royal family. In the Stone royal family, it is not only the Stone family. There are also elders with foreign surnames. As long as he is the core figure, he enjoys the same treatment as the strong Stone clan. Can also participate in the holy meeting. This time the holy meeting is not trivial, and the number of places will increase. A god-level country like Shurgua, how could it be like Yuegua, with only 20 places? When the time comes, you can get Jian Wushuang a place. Jian Wushuang in the enchantment never expected that he and Wu Li had calculated this way. And as of today, there has not been a finalized quota. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5691 is so worthless in Shurgua. If I really knew, Jian Wushuang would probably break his thigh. Such a simple thing. Why bother to make it so complicated? Now he can't get off the stage. Shurjiu, look forward to it. Emperor against the heavens, it's not just divine power. Jian Wu's double-faced color is serious. His voice has just fallen. His breath has changed from normal, converging to the extreme. Shurjiu also frowned slightly, and suddenly couldn't feel Jian Wushuang's breath. A light blue breath just instantly replaced the dark red power of the beast god. This breath is as unchanging as ever. It is in the starry sky, anyone can see it. But there are no people who can use it, because no one has noticed this kind of power at all. The power of the stars. Jian Wushuang's eyes all turned light blue, clenched fists with both hands and screamed. Even his hair turned blue, and there was a light blue arc around him. Everlasting change. In an instant, Jian Wushuang transformed from the Emperor of Divine Power to the Emperor of Time and Space. The power of time is mysterious. The time and space in the enchantment are all within the grasp of Jian Wushuang. His changes did not seem to be aroused by any breath. But the strong power represents everything. I can't see it. Even the Empress could not see Jian Wushuang's strength. Just felt Jian Wushuang's supernatural power disappear, and replaced by a mysterious power. Time and space. The female emperor's expression changed, and she exclaimed, It has something to do with the origin of the universe. Wu Li and Mu Chun are both the masters of the universe and have their own universe. Naturally, they have also seen that Jian Wushuang's power is related to the origin of the universe. Haha, it's about to come back. I know he still has his whole cards. Wu Li said excitedly. Look, Shi Jiao is determined to lose. This time Mu Chun didn't dare to be sure. He just asked curiously. Wushuang is just an emperor. How can it resemble the aura of the origin of the universe? Don't ask more about this. Who doesn't have any secrets, otherwise can it be so powerful? Mukin also realized that he had asked more, so he didn't say more. Hope Jian Wushuang can win Shi Jiao. Although other people found Jian Wushuang's supernatural power disappeared, they didn't see much. Even Shi Jiao himself couldn't see anything strange. Is this the power you are talking about? Shi Jiao said with some uncertainty. Your divine power doesn't seem to have changed in any way. Jian Wushuang didn't deny it, but said lightly. Divine power, not the only one. Then let me learn something other than divine power. Shi Jiao was full of fighting spirit, and he was full of confidence at this time. It was the princess who was standing outside the barrier with a surprised look. She has seen this light blue breath. That was in Baihua Mountain. The power erupted by the mysterious Five Tribulations realm powerhouse. The more she looked, the more she felt like it. It's just that the mysterious powerhouse is performing kendo. But Jian Wushuang didn't have any kendo aura on him. Kendo and Jidao are completely separated, but they are in a state of fusion. The power of Jian Wushuang is the power of the stars. And kendo is more like a realm he cultivated with the power of the stars. But dealing with Shi Jiao, he didn't need to use kendo at all. The power of killing and cutting is too heavy. I am afraid that using kendo can kill, and deal with it instantly. Is just eternal change, that's enough. Jian Wushuang in peak state. He doesn't know how strong he is when converted into supernatural power. But facing the Lord of the Universe in the Three Tribulations realm, he has enough confidence. This has already explained the problem. Shi Jiao. Before the voice came, Jian Wushuang had embraced his arms and appeared behind Shi Jiao. This scene surprised everyone. Even Elder Mu Chun couldn't see the speed of Jian Wushuang just now. Only Wu Li looked around in a daze. The Empress on the throne showed an incredible look. Is not how fast Jian Wushuang is, but time slows down on everyone. Only when the Empress was not affected, did he clearly see Jian Wushuang's methods. And Shi Jiao's complexion changed drastically, and he felt the power of nothingness behind him. Although he didn't know why Jian Wushuang suddenly appeared behind him, he still bit his scalp and hit it with an elbow. Snapped. Jian Wushuang caught it with one hand, shook his head and said, It's too weak. Click. With a slight force on the palm of his hand, he directly smashed Shi Jiao's arm. 200,000 supernatural power. In the peak state of the sword without hands, like an ant. The current Jian Wushuang is stronger than when he joined the road. I don't know how much. In the original world, half of the universe that has been lit up is shining, bursting out with endless original power. When these forces enter the dark starry sky, they will be transformed into starry sky power. Jian Wushuang now is completely different from the past. Used to borrow the power of the stars. Now he can condense the power of the stars himself. Is the same as the power of everything. Slowly become familiar and master. Is just the power of all things, and now it is more suitable for assisting. The power of the starry sky is the strongest power. Ha! Jian Wushuang yelled, grabbing Shi Jiao's neck, and pulling Shi Jiao's broken arm with his other hand. Tear. Directly tore off his arm abruptly. Take the other way, and return it to the other. Shi Jiao's face turned pale instantly, and his divine power was a little unstable. He didn't expect that just a face-to-face can easily crush him. Is this another kind of power Jian Wushuang mentioned earlier? Is too strong. He has never felt it in Jiejing. Outside the barrier, seeing Shi Jiao injured, the eldest princess Jin Chen became worried. Was about to win. Jian Wushuang is like changing a person. The strength is not clear at all. The strong is a bit terrifying. Even Wu Li swallowed. This kind of power is beyond his imagination. His previous speculation is still a little conservative. If he is facing the current Jian Wushuang, I am afraid there is not much hope. So horrible. The supernatural power seemed so vulnerable before Jian Wuduan. You lost. Jian Wushuang didn't rush to kill, but he shot Shi Jiao out of 100 meters away with one palm. The palm just now penetrated Shi Jiao's chest directly. Even the silver armor was completely cracked. Shi Jiao got up with difficulty, trying to learn Jian Wushuang's appearance and restore his arm, but suddenly thought that his current strength comes from the power of restraint. There is no extra vitality to supplement the physical body. There is only one-armed Shi Jiao. There is no hope anymore. Divine power can't be maintained at the peak state. Even in the peak state, it is crushed by Jian Wushuang. The current Jian Wushuang is full of oppression. The light blue breath envelopes, and the blue arc shines. The hair is blue, although the aura is not fierce, but that powerful force prevents the opponent from breathing. The absolute oppression is the purest oppressive force. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5692. It's too strong, although I can't see how strong his divine power is. But Shi Jiao, who can easily defeat 200,000 divine powers, is probably not weaker than the Lord of the Universe, or even stronger. Shirhan's eyes were deep and his tone of voice was deep, feeling desperate for Shi Jiao. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang did not kill. Not weak, Shi Jiao will undoubtedly die. 1. Elder Muchen turned from despair to excitement. Shi Jiao is desperate this time. Today Jian Wushuang became famous in the first battle. Not only will it spread in Vietnam, but it will also be famous throughout the ancient Wood continent. God against the heavens can even be said to be the strongest emperor against heaven in the ancient Wood continent. They really couldn't think of the emperor who could defeat the current Jian Wushuang. The people present, even some Jinshan princesses who hate Jian Wushuang, think from the bottom of their hearts that Jian Wushuang is definitely the strongest emperor in Gumo continent. None of them. As for the entire Guyu time and space, it would be too big, they couldn't guarantee it. But after seeing Jian Wushuang's true strength, they also felt that Jian Wushuang could at least rank in the top 10. The almost invincible great priest in the rumors, the strength described is similar to the current Jian Wushuang. Facing the 200,000 supernatural power Shi Jiao, he crushed easily. This combat power is no different from the Lord of the Universe. I lost, Shi Jiao said lonely, but his supernatural power is still rising. Admit defeat on the lips, but still have attachments in my heart, so I obviously won't give up easily. Jian Wushuang slowly landed, stepped forward without rush or slowly, encircling his chest with his hands, and said casually, "Actually, you can give up." I promised her that she would do my best. Even if the catastrophe is over, I must make this promise. Shi Jiao turned to look at Princess Jinshan outside the barrier, with eyes full of pampering. But the eldest Princess Jinshan has red eyes. She wants Shi Jiao to give up now. Don't fight it anymore. Even if Jian Wushuang is not a killer, if he continues to fight like this, he will definitely die. Even Jian Wushuang was a little moved, staring at Shi Jiao's embarrassed look, reminding him of the past. He was so persistent before. It was only later discovered that clinging to this kind of thing is useless. Only when this kind of attachment is transformed into practice will there be results. If Shi Jiao was in the Tribulation Realm, the power of the 7 Tribulation Realm, how could he be so embarrassed? Who would dare to stop him in Vietnam? Within the royal family, the ancestor who opened up the Yu Kingdom was nothing but a lingering and dying 7 Tribulation Realm. I really want to confront the last master of the universe in the 7 Tribulations Realm. I am afraid that I dare not stop it at all, and will pack Jin Shun and send it to him. Although this obsession was used in the wrong place, Jian Wushuang also admired Shi Jiao very much. If only I could be as cool as you. At the beginning. Can't bear to look back. Jian Wushuang raised his head, not looking at Shi Jiao, pretending to be relaxed. I will respect you, but don't think I will keep my hands. Holy meeting place, he must get it. Open Wanlu, this is his great opportunity. On the far side of the starry sky, there is a long and weak river of time and space, waiting for him to save it. The expectations of countless people, he can't live up to. nor dare to live up to it. Can't have any kindness. Swordsman stood firm. His divine power began to increase rapidly. He still had to use that trick. Jian Wuxia, I admit that you are very strong now, and the strength is beyond my imagination. But the next move will be my life. You have to take it. Swordsman laughed frantically, and a scorching light burst out of his body. In the light, a pair of eyes looked at the Yu Kingdom Princess Jin Chun for the last time. Seems to be saying goodbye. Sword has no double-sided color change, angrily said. Are you crazy? This is going to be desperate. And it's taking his own life in exchange for his life. Swordsman in the light and shadow has only one arm left, with his toes floating in the air, making a fist with one hand and shouting, Death, hum! The space was shattered in an instant. Jian Wuxia protected his face with both hands. Just so hard to resist. He doesn't worry about himself. It's just that Swordsman really doesn't need this. Even if he enters the royal clan as a patriarch, he will not have the same room with Jin Chun. After attending the holy meeting, if he can successfully open the Wanlu Shinmu, there is a high probability that he will run with Wu Li. Wait until the strength is strong before coming out. Open Wanlu Shinmu. On the bright side, the Guma school will not interfere. But I don't know how many people secretly will stare. It's not easy to open, but it's much simpler to kill people and win treasures. So I must avoid it for a while. Even if he didn't hide, he would leave Guma continent and go to other areas among the 9 heavens and 10 places, looking for the 10 sons of Qishan Temple, who came together back then. At that time we will be together. The people of Guyu time and space. It is not that Jian Wuxia distrusts, but is unnecessary. No matter how powerful these people are, they will not travel with him to the long river of time and space of the primitive universe to save prosperity. In the eyes of the practitioners of Guyu time and space, there is a remote place. There are no treasures of chance, who will spend a long time drifting in the past. Only those of them who come from the temple of Qishan can care about the time and space of their hometown. They are all fighting one by one. Jian Wuxia, how dare not to fight? His strongest opponent, but extinction, is still waiting for him. The turbulent power struck. Jian Wuxia was completely wrapped in the power of the starry sky, without fear. In his peak state, even if he fights against the Lord of the Universe, he will not suffer. Ah! Swordsman yelled to the sky, clenched a fist with one hand, and completely exploded the power of restraint, transforming it into annihilation. Crackling, the enchantment was instantly shattered, and the Empress Feng Chen personally stepped down to suppress the violent aura. But this way, Jian Wuxia was miserable. It would be good if Swordsman's attack was completely dispersed, but the area within the enchantment was too small, and coupled with the suppression of the female emperor, after the breath burst, the space was directly crushed. Jian Wuxia and Swordsman both fell into the turbulence of time and space, the colorful world like a mirror. What a lunatic! Jian Wuxia's aura skyrocketed again, and he resisted completely. Waves of heat hit him, but they did not cause any harm to him. Jian Wuxia stared at the crazy Swordsman, sighed and shook his head. The other party's age may be much older than him, but the mood is probably not good. Chic is really chic. I never thought that even if he desperately changed him, the royal family would find someone to marry the Princess Jin Chun. Is it cheaper for others? Why do you spell it like this? The terrifying power that swept through began to gradually weaken. Swordsman's body began to enter a petrified state, and the cracks on the divine body began to solidify when they appeared. The vitality has been exhausted, and then there is death. Once the divine body is finished, the remaining source cannot stop this backlash. This is the time and space dominated by divine power. Divine body is the strongest foundation. Once the divine body is finished, it is a waste to retain the original source. Is the same as the White King at the beginning. If the source is gone, only the divine body is left, and it is no different from a useless person. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5693. Why did you? Swordsman's face was like ashes, and he was about to fall. But Jian Wuxia's aura remained unchanged. but the blue arc flickered more intensely. This time he was completely desperate. Desperately. There is no way that Jian Wushuang can do anything. The luck is in the barrier. If it weren't for the barrier, he wouldn't be able to change Jian Wushuang completely. Such a pity. In the barrier, he can't change Jian Wushuang. And Jian Wushuang seemed to be unharmed. He can no longer guess Jian Wushuang's true strength. None of the rumored great priests can compare with Jian Wushuang. The complete restraint, the burst of power of nirvana, can kill the Lord of the universe. And in such a small space, even the top powerhouse among the masters of the universe should have fallen. Jian Wushuang is nothing. The aura on his body did not weaken, but became stronger. This is the horror of the power of the stars. In fact, Shurjio's power of nirvana that just broke out can threaten Jian Wushuang. But his power of nirvana, in front of the power of the stars, is just like an ant. And his power of extinguishment was released from the power of restraint. There was not much at all, and it would be backlash later. Jian Wushuang is different. The power of the starry sky is transformed from the source, and it can be said to be endless. How does this compare? Jian Wushuang gently shook his head. This is not a fight between life and death. If it were life and death, Shurjio would have died 10,000 times. The physical body completely entered the petrochemical. Before Shurjio lost consciousness, he exhausted the last trace of his Buddhist supernatural power, and left a word to Jian Wushuang. Take care of her for me. The voice of fell, and Shurjio's physical and divine bodies were completely petrified. Only the origin is resisting stubbornly, but it can't stand it for long. Enough! The female emperor gave a soft cry, and her jade hand stretched out, and a surging vitality entered Shurjio's body, protecting the last source. With a light swipe of his finger, he tore a door of time and space. Take him back to Shurgua, and some help. The empress turned her head and said to Shurhan. A little later, even if he survives, he will be a useless person. Shurhan heard the words, rushed over, grabbed Shurjio's body by Shurhua, and directly entered the gate of time and space. Brother 9. The eldest princess Jin Chen wanted to keep up, but was stopped by the empress. Jian Wushuang stood aside, a little embarrassed. He hadn't thought that one day he would beat a mandarin duck. Fortunately, he is not a villain, and he will not fall into trouble. Even if you join the royal family and become the eldest princess Jin Chen's Taoist companion, you won't think of her too much. The point is that at that time, it is no longer unconcerned, but upright. Even so, Jian Wushuang will not touch her. He just wants to become stronger, to solve the big trouble of extinction, and then follow the path of the master, and go to the future to meet with teacher Xianyi. Go and see the future world. What is hidden when it arrives? Within the starry sky, who is planning again? Princess Jinshin fell on her knees, crying Lihua with rain, raised her head and stared at her cold mother, and said heartbreakingly, "Why are you forcing me? The big thing is set, forget him." The empress' voice was cold, and there was no room for maneuver. The key point is that she can't stand it anymore when she sees her daughter's appearance. Where is Jian Wushuang still standing? Looking at Jian Wushuang's tall and straight back, his face was bright and handsome. Why go to Shurjio? The opponent is indeed very good, with both background and strength, and he sacrificed his life for Jin Chen. But what good is this? Strength is respected. Don't be funny. She is someone who came over, knowing what the robbery is facing. The pressure that did not exist in the emperor's time will explode when it reaches the robbery realm. Once you arrive in a certain robbery, it is estimated that you will regret it for life. Dailu is only temporary. Strength is for a lifetime. Jian Wushuang is so good. With the Yu Kingdom princess, it is more than enough. If this time the situation of the battle were to pass, I am afraid that the forces that want to be included in Jian Wushuang can be ranked 9 days away. That can still get you Gua. You, the eldest princess of Vietnam. Even if it inherits the throne in the future, what's the matter? Compared with the 7-star sects on the ancient Wood continent, the foundation is still quite different. This time they crossed over, but they found the treasure. Jian Wushuang's background is not complicated. And Wu Li also said that Jian Wushuang couldn't stay in the outland, and he fell out of poverty. Only then did he come to Vietnam to take refuge in the Wu family. Even if Jian Wushuang became the Five Tribulations realm in the future, without interference from outsiders, he could not interfere with the Yu King clan. A top thugin by Jian. Even if it is the Empress, I feel that I have made a lot of money this time. Who? Jian Wushuang took a breath and returned to normal. Looking at Princess Jinshin in front of her, she didn't know what to say. Can only turn around and hold a fist at the Empress slightly. Your Majesty, look. His meaning is obvious. How does this end? Muang, you first bring Jian Wushuang to settle down in the capital, and talk about the rest 3 days later. Empress Fengchen also knew that it was not suitable to talk about the previous agreement at this time. Wait for my daughter to come over first, and then take it slowly. There are still 10 years to go before the holy meeting, and strive to get everything done within 10 years. After Mukin heard this, he hurriedly stepped forward to pull Jian Wushuang and replied, Your Majesty, don't worry, Wei Chen will do it. Wushuang nephew, come with me. Jian Wushuang bowed to bid farewell, and followed Mu Chen to prepare to leave. But when he passed the threshold, he turned his head and looked at the 3 emperors who remained in the hall. These 3 people were found by Elder Mu Chen, did not follow them now but was kept. I am afraid that the female emperor also discovered the power of death exerted by 2 of the emperors. Jian Wushuang is not in a hurry. If you go to mention it now, it will arouse people's suspicion. I will ask Elder Mu Chen later. If he is detained by the female emperor, he will be able to find out when he becomes a family member in the future. So in order to leave the palace with Mu Chen and Wu Li, Brother Mu Chen, don't let it go. After all, it's my nephew. I can arrange it. I will take him to your house and wait 3 days later. After Wu Li repeatedly politely rejected the kindness of Elder Mu Chen, Jian Wushuang returned to his previous residence. After entering the mansion, Wu Li and Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. This old fellow, you are thinking about living in the Muangfu before you even join the family, and you look down on my Wu family too much. Wu Li looked a little angry. Is obviously a little bit brooding. Even if you marry a maid, you won't live in someone else's house before the wedding. Not to mention, Jian Wushuang is an emperor against the sky. This time the royal family, let's have fun. Brother Wu Li, why bother to the secular face? Once Wanlu is opened, what are these dynasty sects? Oh, it's my mundane thing. But this Yuoang royal family is really not a good thing. If you marry in the future, you must be careful. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5694. The 2 have entered another courtyard, where a willow tree fell, and there was a beautifully carved tea house in front of them. Wu Li's tea is cooked on the familiar road. Jian Wushuang is to savor carefully. Jian Wushuang felt like Wu Li said bad things about the royal family behind his back. Change of status, if he is sure Jiao, I am afraid he will be mad. Or that Princess Jinshin. Although he feels that the other party is too persistent, it is difficult for him to accept it when it happens to him. The poor boy meets the eldest lady. You have to be right. You are so beautiful. And you are worried that others will occupy the magpie's nest. This kind of thing is simply unclear. What's more, Shurjio is desperate. If it's for Yugua's belongings, why not fight for the throne of Shurgua? As far as he knows, the contemporary lord of Shurgua is not Shurxiu. Is Shurxiu's eldest brother, although he is also in the 6 tribulations realm, but the outside world generally disagrees with his strength. The possibility of 99% in the future is to specialize in Sanjia. In this way the throne is vacant. If Shurxiu fully supports Shurjiu, it is very promising. Shixia's peak combat power, if it can reach 180,000. 190,000 is a bit reluctant. It's not my own supernatural power, so I don't do calculations. The Emperor has 180,000 combat power, becoming the Lord of the Universe. It can be said that it is a certainty. Coupled with Shurxiu's training, it is not difficult to become the 4 tribulations realm. The 5 tribulations realm needs some external opportunities. Shurjiu is also the proud son of heaven. The 5 tribulations realm may not be impossible. It can be said that Shurjiu is the seedling of the 5 tribulations realm. Such a pity. I don't know if I can recover before the holy meeting. Wu Li poured tea to Jian Wushuang and said, if I were the female emperor, I saw Shi Jiu's performance today. Even if the stone on her chest would melt, she would be fine. Opened a dog hole and asked Shi Han to take Shi Jiu away, without a word of comfort. The emperor is moody and most ruthless. Jian Wushuang gave an evaluation. From the mundane world to the present, the same applies. Isn't it? Wu Li nodded and agreed. Jian Wushuang put down his teacup and said in a serious tone, let's talk about business. There should be no problem with the number of places in the holy meeting this time. Don't worry about this. If the royal family doesn't give it, we will divorce. Wu Li promised, patting his chest. In fact, Jian Wushuang is also unlucky. He didn't see Wu Li's short-sightedness. If his strength is revealed early, I am afraid Qin Jianmen will give him a place. It's just these 10,000 years. It's not easy to get the details. Although Wu Li's vision is a bit short-sighted, the layout is still very elegant. 10,000 years, Jiang Jian Wushuang's identity has been flawless. Walked out of a down-and-out family, traveled for several epochs in the Outland, and returned to the Yu Kingdom to seek refuge in the Wu family. And not just talking, Wu Li has arranged for someone to leave a trace of Jian Wushuang on purpose. Although Jian Wushuang was only a small deacon of King Yanzong at the beginning, his identity was investigated by King Yanzong. This time he joined the royal family. The other party might be investigating his identity at this time. With Wu Li's layout, Jian Wushuang didn't worry at all. There is no deep-rooted family to guarantee him. It is not easy to get into the core. Even if he is against the sky and his identity is unknown, he will be suspected and dare not reuse it. Especially powers like the Vietnamese royal family have too much suspicion. There shouldn't be any problems. But there is one thing you should pay attention to. I have heard that a certain ancestor of the Yu country will wake up in the near future. Maybe it is related to the input. It's impossible. I'm just an emperor. Does that old ancestor care? Jian Wushuang asked in surprise. He is an emperor married to a royal family. He is a door-to-door son-in-law. The other party can see him. Wu Li continued. I'm worried now he will see something. For example, you and I have no blood. This cannot be done. There is nothing to worry about. My physical body is a bit special, changing all things. And the powerhouse of the seven tribulations realm will not see the problem. Jian Wushuang was most attentive to his physical body, the original Morwa time and space, although not following the genre of physical body and body. But there is still a hand in the refinement of the physical body. 10 times of tempering, it surpassed the peak of Morwa time and space. Even in the time and space of Gu Yu, his physical perfection, in the same level, can firmly rank in the top 3. The number 1 is a bit exaggerated. Jian Wushuang is not as confident as Wu Li. Except for this, there is nothing. After the ancestor recovers, most of them will go to the holy meeting. Although the Sanjia realm cannot participate in the holy meeting, it is a good choice to observe it. Wu Li breathed a sigh of relief, and his confidence came up. Ns. He still has confidence in his layout. Isn't this about to succeed now? Get the quota and wait for the holy meeting 10 years later. Open Wanlu and become a master. Jian Wushuang didn't say anything more. Let's take one step at a time. As for the 2 emperors related to the power of death, he didn't tell Wu Li. Although the 2 are in the same boat, the relationship is not so good yet. The key, this has nothing to do with Wu Li. The power of death matter, but it involves the future. He must pay attention to it. Wait 3 days later, see Elder Mu Chun and try again. The main event is to open Wanlu. The power of death second. If he could drop by, he would not dislike the trouble. I just don't know whether this power of death has anything to do with extinction. If there is, then the opponent's hand is too long. Under the willow tree, 3 days pass quickly. Wu Li didn't leave for the past 3 days, so he kept playing with tea sets and chatting with Jian Wushuang for 3 days. One old and one young. After talking about practice, talking about legends. When finally talked about women, mentioned the same name. The Empress Fengchen. Both of them leaked weird smiles, and then stopped directly. Just when the 2 were about to leave for Muwangfu, Elder Mu Chun came in person. Elder Mu Chun, You are too polite, come here and bring something. Wu Li said from his mouth, but his body was sincere, directing the housekeeper to the back room. Jian Wushuang didn't care about that. The treasures sent were not simple, but unfortunately they were all divine treasures, and he didn't need it at all. Dongkun's bones, he can't even digest them, so there is no time to absorb those divine treasures. I improve too slowly. If you want basic divine power, and reach the level of the 3 tribulations, I am afraid it will be the year of the monkey. Dongkun's skeleton, so far he can't see how powerful it is. Anyway, it is at least a skeleton from the 7 tribulations realm. The bones of the flesh contain extremely rich divine power. The original source was extinguished, but the flesh was not corrupted. But the flesh was refined by humans, leaving the bones and the inner power of the divine body. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5695. Jian Wushuang only needs to fuse it into his divine body, and he can quickly break his divine power to more than 200,000. Even more. He hasn't heard of the matter of someone going to absorb the divine body of the 7 tribulations realm. Don't know how much it will improve in the end. After the matter of face was settled, Elder Mu Chun took the lead, drank a sip of tea without rushing, and said solemnly, "Brother Wu Li, today, I will come to propose marriage by crossing the Qin family. Look at this marriage. What to do? Well, I'm just such a nephew. I was a lonely nephew since I was a child. I went to Outland and got a powerful chance. I was chased and killed. I went to Vietnam to join me. The princess took a fancy to it. Since your majesty has lifted it, how dare we have any opinions?" Wu Li was very modest, and he praised Elder Mu Chun and the entire royal family. Almost called Jian Wushuang a stinky beggar. If this is the case, then I'll just mention it. Don't worry about the betrothal gift. 8 million yuan will be sent right away. The wedding day will be set in 3 years. What do you think? Mu Chun was also very happy. These are all imaginary. He knows what Jian Wushuang wants. Jian Wushuang, standing behind Wu Li, in addition to serving tea to the two as a gift for the younger generation, he also listened to their conversation. When he heard 8 million, his face moved. 8 million, if it is the universe crystal, some are missing. Elder Mu Chun, he might be able to collect tens of millions of universe crystals in one big life. This time I took 8 million, and I look down on people too much. Although he is not from the Wu family, he still thinks this matter is too much. Is obviously to look down on people. He was a patriarch and sold himself to the royal family. When Wu Li heard it, his face sank slightly like Jian Wu. It is also clear that these are small things, and the most important thing is the number of places in the holy meeting. Can't break a big thing because of a little thing. It doesn't matter. It's just that I heard that the Gumusek's messenger has recently arrived. I don't know how many places Yuegwa has gotten this time. Wu Li asked tentatively. Although Mu Chun mentioned it when Jian Wushuang fought Shijiao, he also needed a guarantee. If there is no quota, it is better to transfer to someone else now. After Mukin heard it, he flipped his hand and took out a token from the mustard seeds and smiled. "Brother Wu Li, see what this is." Seeing the token, Wu Li's complexion slowed, and he took it directly from Elder Mu Chen's hand. 2 tokens. A piece of gold, representing the tribulation realm. A piece of silver, representing the emperor. Holy meeting qualifications has already arrived. One is Wu Li's own, and the other is Jian Wushuang. Wu Li held the token with a smile, and handed the token of the emperor to Jian Wushuang, and his own piece was also in his arms. "Brother Mu Chun, you gave me a great surprise today. Holy meeting place, he actually got it a long time ago. According to normal circumstances, the royal family will not give them quotas. But today, he was given a sacred order for the tribulation realm. Is equal to their Wu family, with 1 more quota. How can this not make Wu Li happy? Although there is no suitable candidate for the tribulation realm in the Wu family, Wu Li can take this tribulation realm holy society token and sell it. Is definitely a sky-high price. What is 8 million? Mukin smiled and said, "This token, But your majesty gave it to Wushuang's nephew, you must cherish it. This is okay. Wu Li promised, patting his chest. He understood what Mu Chen meant. This token can be given to him, but he has to pull out a strong support. Empress Fengchen will also participate in this holy meeting. Need help? The Wu family married the royal family, and naturally got on a boat. This token cannot be easily given to others, but to find a strong supporter, who needs the other to assist the empress in seizing the position of the saint. In this way, the price will be much lower. But Wu Li is still very happy. He originally planned to use the power of his family to find a holy guild token with Tribulation Realm qualification. But he doesn't need it now. Willow this kind of thing. How could he not leave himself with a whole card? This token is like a divine help. Elder Mukin is also very happy. This time their royal family has obtained a lot of tokens, but they are not neighbors. This is also to win Jian Wushuang and Wu's family. In that case, I hope Brother Wu Li will also give us a surprise at that time. Elder Mu Chen raised his eyebrows and said in a daze. This time the holy meeting is unprecedented. You can't be careless. Wu Li also followed the words and said, everything has its own definite number. Today's ancient wood continent is deadly silent. It is time to be more active. 9 heavens and 10 earths. We are already in the countdown position. It's all the same. Guyu time and space is the most powerful, always in the past. The 8 tribulations realm of that era is really many. When the ancestors resurrected, they were still talking about the past falling era. It's a pity that one generation is not as good as one generation. The face of Elder Mu Chen has a look of remembrance. Jian Wushuang was listening carefully. Fallen era is the thing that happened after the goddess created the ancient moon time and space. The fall of Heavenly Girl. A strong man who has completed the 9 tribulations. The way she scattered has created a group of powerful 8 tribulations realm. These powerful people created the ancient moon god sect. And the 19 strongest among them have created 19 8-star sections, is passed down to this day. The original Shenmu king was one of them. But strength is the countdown, because the ancient wood continent has the least resources. Only the Wanlu Shenmu is relatively rare and special. But unfortunately it is not controlled by the ancient wood faction. Otherwise, it wouldn't be so bad. Even the flame divine power of Shurgwa couldn't match it. In today's era, the Lord of the Universe in the 8 tribulations realm is almost extinct. The entire Guyu time and space, I am afraid there are not many. Many have left Guyu time and space. For Jian Wushuang is very powerful here. But the Master of the Universe in the 8 tribulations realm can see it. Guyu time and space, just like the powerhouse in the dispersing tribulation realm, lost its vitality. Stay here can only wait to die. It is better to go to other time and space rivers. The 9 core time and space rivers, and the endless starry sky. Where is the belonging? The strong man in the robbery realm, who can escape the long river of time and space, should not be restrained. Of course, you have to have that strength when you go out. Like Jian Wushuang, there is no need to say more, just the emperor. Even if the powerhouse of the 5 tribulations realm goes to another time and space, it is very dangerous. Can only stay in Guyu time and space. Sanjia realm is even more desperate to sleep. The source of divine power is cut off, and vitality is lost. This is a nightmare for those peak powers. Ordinary tribulation realm powerhouses are fortunately able to resist. Those who are strong in the 8 tribulations realm can't hold it. Many powerhouses in the 8 tribulations realm have fallen along with the universe. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5696 is the same as the god, not wanting to face the self who has lost his origin. Of course, looking at it now, the has another plan. Just Jian Wushuang doesn't know what the other party is planning. If the gods succeed, I am afraid it will be an unprecedented disaster. Sanji regained its vitality. That can't be done simply by injecting life force. Needs the root, not the infinite life force. Jian Wushuang knows this. In the future, he has enough strength to return to the Temple of Qixin, and he must explore the plan of the gods. Okay, I won't bother you, but Wuxuang nephew wants to go with me. I have something to arrange. Elder Mu Chen stood up, preparing to leave with Jian Wuxuang. Wu Li also had no objection. After sending the two out of the house, they returned to the mansion with ambition. Using a secret teleportation formation, they left the capital directly and returned to the Wu family. Is hiding somewhere because of his backhand. Jian Wuxuang followed Elder Mu Chen to the Muangfu. The two found a small courtyard with a leisurely and unique feeling, with a maid waiting there, and outside the pavilion, there was a mountain lake with a calm surface. Wuxuang nephew, just tell me anything. After Elder Mu Chen waved his hand to let the maid go down, he continued. They are all about to become a family. There are some things you want to keep from Wu Li. You can tell me at any time. Jian Wuxuang narrowed his eyes and smiled. At Wu's mansion, he transmitted the sound to Elder Mu Chen and asked him to take him away from Wu's mansion. At this critical time, leaving alone, I'm afraid Wu Li would also have doubts. So he asked Mu Chen to take him out. And by the way, he was close to the other party. Go to inquire about the two emperors related to the power of death. This time, thanks to Elder Mu Chen, I really have some things that I want to fill with that uncle. Jian Wuxuang compiled it carefully, and Mu Chen was fascinated by it. Finally, Mu Chen did it directly. What? Have you encountered that kind of power in Outland? Mu Chen couldn't believe it. The two emperors were both found by him, so after the deduction, the female emperor told the matter. Mukin also understood what that power represents, so he was so surprised. Why, Elder Mu Chen knows too. Jian Wuxuang's heart moved, and there really was something he didn't know. It depends on whether he can explode this time. Mukin took his seat again, leaning on the recliner, recalling what the Empress Fengchen had said, but he said it all without concealment. He thought Jian Wuxuang knew about it, and he said it was open and bright. Jian Wuxuang exclaimed, Sure enough, I guessed it well. I'm afraid there are still people behind these two people. From Mu Chen, Jian Wuxuang learned the power of death, the secret in Guyu time and space. This secret few people know, not even some six tribulations realm. Only some powerful people in power know about it. The female Emperor Fengchen also learned from the ancestors of the Yu royal family. The power of death is not called the power of death in Guyu time and space. Is the power to destroy the world. When the goddess fell, there was a power to destroy the world. That time was the pinnacle of the eight tribulations realm of Guyu time and space, and it was also the closest they were to death. The power of destroying the world appeared. In desperation for 9 days. Among the 10 places, there are 3 continents that have become relics. Only the 8-star Zhongmen and some secret realms were left, and the rest were all destroyed, leaving only the ruins. For 9 days, all of them were broken. The scope and background have been greatly affected. Many people don't know why those ruins appeared, and they thought they were like that. Is actually caused by the power of destroying the world. Actually appeared several times in the follow-up, but there was no horror, and there was very little destruction. Until now, the power of extinction has completely disappeared. Sometimes someone finds the power of death in the relics of some time and space periods, but it is also surviving. Some people want to master this kind of power, but they find that they will swallow the vitality in the body just after being contaminated. If they want to get rid of it, countless vitality is needed to accumulate it. No one dared to touch this kind of power anymore. Especially those who are strong in the robbery, their vitality is inherently limited, and it is the most difficult to recover. Once they encounter the power of death, as long as they are contaminated, there is a risk of falling asleep, and even falling. Jian Wuxuang sighed secretly in his heart. He is in control of the existence of the power of death. Even if his strength is only half a step in the 7 tribulations realm, he can threaten those strong in the 8 tribulations realm. Except for the Lord of the universe, everyone is afraid of the power of death. Even if he is the Lord of the universe, he doesn't want to be tainted with this kind of power. This also made Jian Wuxuang curious. If it was really a means of extinction, the time that Naomi survived was too long, appeared from the time of the fall of the ancient moon time and space, and then to the time and space of Mo Luo, and the time and space of the primitive universe. The span is too big, plus Dongjun, Jian Wushuang, and unable to calculate. If this is the case, then extinction was once so powerful, has been metamorphosed to the present, and it is all 6 calamities. And there is hope of improvement. I am afraid it is no different from the Lord of the Universe, because he himself represents death. As long as Jian Wushuang is swallowed, the fusion of death and life may reach a new level, beyond the existence of the 9 tribulations realm. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang shook his head vigorously. Will never be able to. If this were the case, it would not be the time and space of the primitive universe that would be finished. When the time comes, everyone will die. The power of extinction is a disaster in the starry sky. He must figure out where these 2 emperors obtained the power of death. Otherwise he would be uncomfortable in this ancient moon time and space. On the day of goodbye, Xiexing found him again, but there was nowhere to hide. You must know that he came to Guiyue time and space, because of avoiding extinction. Elder Mu Chen, what will your majesty do with these 2 people? Jian Wushuang tentatively asked. Elder Mu Chen sighed and said, they were all the arrogances in the eternal realm. They are all Tianjiao in the eternal realm. It is impossible to deal with them. The overall strength of the eternal realm is much stronger than that of the Yu country. Your majesty will not offend them at this time. Eternal kingdom, Jian Wushuang nodded. That is the eternal kingdom comparable to the stone country. And the strong of the eternal clan are notorious lunatics. Although the 2 emperors are not members of the eternal race, they are the core disciples of the eternal kingdom, and they are also Tianjiao. The seizure cannot be too long, otherwise it will cause the other party's suspicion. In the past few days, I am afraid it will be released. Empress Fengchen, but to go for the position of the saint, when the time comes, cooperation with the eternal kingdom is indispensable. If you offend this time, maybe she will wear small shoes. Although there is no suitable candidate for the saint in the eternal kingdom, it can also hinder the situation. https://mobile version reading URL. Chapter 5697. If the other party fully supports the female emperor, he will also fall to one side. There is still a sense of measure in this country. If that's the case, let's talk about it later. Jian Wushuang said on the surface, but he didn't give up in his heart. Instead, he told Elder Mu Chen that he must notify him before the other party leaves Yu Kingdom. Mu Chen listened to his flicker, and thought he was going to explore the outland with these 2 people. So he didn't think much about it. So he sent Jian Wushuang away. When he returned to the Wu family mansion, Jian Wushuang did not feel Wu Li's breath, and was a little surprised. Went back to the house alone for a while. A familiar breath reappeared, and he was quickly found. Brother Wushuang, I came back so soon. Mu Chen is really 2. There is nothing I can't say at Wu family mansion. Wu Li walked into the house, but his expression was a little gloomy, and then said, I still didn't take me. Be yourself. Jian Wushuang smiled helplessly. Brother Wu Li, you have made a lot of money this time. Don't get cheap and sell well. Be careful if Mu Chen finds out. I will put you on some small shoes. Haha, here are you and me, how would he know? Wu Li looked at Jian Wushuang meaningfully, as if to say that the 2 of them are the same people on the same boat. But if he understands Jian Wushuang, he went straight to the subject and said, this time it is indeed a small profit. The token can be sold for at least this amount. But the people who find it also need unconditional help from the country, so this price a lot lower. Or you can sell higher. 300 million. Jian Wushuang was speechless. This is still cheaper. If it is bought out directly, it may soar to 1 billion. 300 million universe crystals. Jian Wushuang finally got 200 million. He never expected Wu Li to be so generous. Originally thought it would be evenly divided, but didn't expect to give him 200 million directly. The 2 billion cosmic crystals were his biggest receipt when he came to Guiyue time and space. A full 200 million cosmic crystals. If it is in the Temple of Qixin, I don't know how long it will take to get it. However, the treasures he obtained in the Temple of Qixin were not calculable by the universe crystal, such as the bones of beast soldiers and Dongjun. These two treasures are not calculable with the universe crystal. Is placed in Guyu time and space, and is also the top treasure. Beast God weapon is the most precious treasure of the seven tribulations realm, which was made by the God of God. The 9 great beasts are the pinnacle of the entire Moroa time and space. Jian Wushuang got only one of the candle dragons. There are 8 more, and they haven't been found yet. Dongkun's skeleton. The lowest is the skeleton of the 7 tribulations realm, even stronger. Guyu time and space. The 7 tribulations realm is not uncommon, and there have been several in the history of Yu Kingdom alone. But in today's era, there is not a single master of the universe in the 7 tribulations realm. There is not even a master of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm. The most powerful master of the universe today is the female emperor of Yu Kingdom. As for Sanjia, I won't talk about it. There is too much loss of vitality, and it can't be compared with Dongjun's skeleton. If Dongjun's skeleton were to be taken out, I am afraid the movement caused would be even more terrifying than the 7 tribulations supreme treasure. After all, there are many treasures in the 7 tribulations realm. There are not many bones of the Lord of the 7 tribulations realm universe. Most of them just got a piece of bone and held it as a treasure. In addition to these 2 treasures, Jian Wushuang has even more powerful treasures. Guantian chessboard. The treasure of time and space left to him by Mr. Xuani. There were not a few pieces of Moro in time and space. There should be one thing for the god of Qi, as well as extinction, and he also has it. The gods were shattered at the beginning, and the gods got the treasure of time and space. As for the extinction, it is estimated that they got it a long time ago. In the end, it is the Guantian chessboard of the first true king, which is the treasure of time and space left by the original layout of Master Xianyi. After Jian Wushuang got it, he hasn't really opened it yet. The chess record left by the first true king is useless, and can only copy the origin of it. Jian Wushuang hasn't understood the intention until now. Some of the most extreme levels of origin are of no use to him. And when the opponent is extinct, it consumes a lot, and he swallows the rest. Now I copy some universe origins in the 3 tribulations realm. Said it was a copy, but in fact it was slowly devouring it. These origins currently serve 2 purposes. One is to swallow directly, and the other is to inject vitality and manipulate chess pieces. After arriving at the emperor, he can manipulate the chess pieces of the absolute top, and swallow the origin of the universe. If he becomes a robbery realm, he will be able to manipulate stronger chess pieces, such as those chess pieces that have the font size. Each one is the origin of the strong man above the 3 tribulations realm. If he injects vitality to restore strength, it will be a big help for him. As for the handsome chess pieces, he can't even copy them, not to mention manipulation. I am afraid that those chess pieces are the origin of the universe above the 7 tribulations realm. Finally, there are chess pieces of God's size. That is the most powerful source, and the power of time and space above it is also more concentrated. Unfortunately, Jian Wushuang now can only watch. Still have to quickly improve the origin. Light up a whole universe as soon as possible. In this way, when he becomes the tribulation realm, he can leap into the 3 tribulations realm, and even the peak of the 3 tribulation realm. Directly creates a universe. This is much stronger than the masters of the universe, who refined the universe. Because of this, his dojo is different. The universe crystal sent by Wu Li can speed up his cultivation. There are also the treasures sent by the elder Mu Chun, but they are not polite. Accept them together, and let Wu Li help him exchange them for the source treasures. Wu Li was a little surprised, but didn't think much. He knows that Jian Wushuang's divine power is very special. I am afraid that he has reached the peak of the emperor, and now he wants to cultivate his origin. Pave the way for the future to become a robbery. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Jian Wushuang proposed to go out and turn around. He also had some cosmic crystals in his hand, and he went to other countries to buy some treasures that suit him in order to prepare for the holy meeting in the future. Do you need me to be with you? Wu Li said politely. Jian Wushuang shook his head and replied, No need, just buy some treasures. Anyway, There are still 3 years away from entering the royal family. He went out to purchase a batch of treasures for cultivation, and it was normal. Wu Li is just to be polite. He still has very important things to do. Did not ask much. Then the two returned to practice. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to delay a moment. He had improved very little in these 10,000 years. The matter of the sacred meeting, he thought it would take a long time, but he didn't expect it to be so fast. Now can only rely on the flow of time to practice. A few days outside, for Jian Wushuang, it is a few years. A few days later, Jian Wushuang received news from Elder Mu Chen. The two emperors have come out of the palace. Jian Wushuang opened his eyes and left the Wu family mansion very low-key. Wu Li felt it as soon as he left. Found that he was walking very low-key. Thinking carefully, he went to buy treasures, but it was normal. Chapter 5698. In the dark secret room, when Jian Wushuang left the Wu family mansion, Wu Li also returned to the Wu family Jian tomb through the teleportation array. Both of them have secret things to do, and no one has delayed anyone. It's just the matter of Jian Wushuang. It has nothing to do with the Shenghui. After leaving the Wu family mansion, Jian Wushuang's appearance changed a little. He locked the two emperors through his mind and quietly followed. The more the king is outside. On a battleship, the two emperors left the capital and did not deliberately fly. Instead, they took out a huge battleship and prepared to leave on the battleship. This made Jian Wushuang very surprised. Both of them were previously detained by the Yu state, and now they don't want to hurry away, and they still take the warship so leisurely. There must be demons if something goes wrong. Jian Wushuang became more careful. His flesh body incarnate particles absorbed on the battleship through the void. This battleship is a supreme eternal treasure, and its power is not strong. Jian Wushuang directly used his thought power to wrap the entire battleship. Every move on was clearly seen by him. In addition to the two emperors, there are still many maids on the battleship. Apparently, she was still an alien handmaid. These two people will enjoy it. Is bathing in the cabin now. Jian Wushuang had no interest in peeking at others to take a bath. After Nianli searched the entire battleship, he lurked down and waited for the two to act. Also watched the chat between the two. Ni Kuan, are you sure that Jian Wushuang has the kind of power that Lord Bobby said? Song Biao, when did I lie to you? I am too familiar with that power. Back then, Lord Bobby D injected that power into my body, and my strength will skyrocket. What Nikuan and Song Biao said made Jian Wushuang frown slightly. Bobby D, he seems to have never heard of it. But judging from the respectful appearance of the two, they should be super strong in the robbery realm. Is at least the Lord of the Universe above the Four Tribulations realm. Otherwise, it is impossible for these two to be so respectful. Just say the name. Always carry the word adult. Listening to what they said, the power in these two people really did not belong to them, but came from the Lord Bobby. And also feel the familiar breath from him. Jian Wushuang's eyes turned, and he secretly guessed in his heart. Could it be the force of life? Probably. But the power in these two people is the power of death. This is very strange. Was also full of curiosity about the Lord Bobby. At least the other party knows the existence of the power of death and the power of life. Is not easy. Jian Wushuang held down and continued to monitor. If luck is good, these two people may go to the Lord Bobby. After all, he was discovered by these two people because of the power of life in his body. Maybe they would tell the strong man named Bobby D. After Ni Kuan took a shower, he casually put on a loose robe and then went to the guest room to relax. Song Biao seems to have no such thoughts, just waiting outside the door. Almost a stick of incense, Ni Kuan walked out of the room. As for the alien girl in the room, there is only one skeleton left. Pink Skull, this is what I'm talking about. Your time is getting shorter and shorter. Song Biao mocked. Ni Kuan didn't care. Found a place and sat down directly, waved to let the alien girls go down, and went straight to the subject and said, Jian Wushuang's strength is too strong. And now he is the son-in-law of the king of you, it doesn't move him. Jia, we only need to inform Lord Bobby D of this news, and it will definitely give us a lot of power at that time. Sang Biao said indifferently. The two of them were originally ordinary children in the family, but since they met the Lord Bobby, their strength suddenly skyrocketed, became the arrogant of the family. The treasures given by the family still can't satisfy these two people. They can only rely on the Lord Bobby, especially when they discovered that there was such a powerful emperor in the same rank. They were even more greedy and wanted to become stronger. Then go back to the family to prepare, and then go to see Lord Bobby. No problem. After taking their attention, the two began to practice separately. Jian Wushuang was also very curious about these two people's cultivation. When they fully entered the cultivation, their divine power had already slightly transformed. There is death in the divine power. These two big fools don't even know if they are being used. If you continue to practice, you must explode and die. The warship flew all the way, and soon left the country. To go to the Eternal Kingdom, you need to traverse 2 kingdoms. It takes about a month, but Jian Wushuang doesn't panic. If he hurried with all his strength, he would be able to return to Yu Kingdom in 3 days. There is plenty of time. Just one thing, when these two people went to visit the Lord Bobby, would he follow him? If he is found out, he will be done. If you don't follow, you can only control these two people first, and then perform a soul search. Jian Wushuang's instinct told him that searching for souls is useless. These two people know too little, can only take a risk once. If the opponent's strength exceeds the 5 tribulations realm, it is hard not to be discovered. If it is lower than the 5 tribulations realm, there is still some hope. When the time comes, he must let a clone go forward, not let the deity take risks. Once the clone is killed, the deity needs to escape with all its strength. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang's deity began to leave with a lot of treasures. Before the battleship entered the Eternal Kingdom, Jian Wushuang's deity stayed in Suolua, which was bordered by the Yu Kingdom and the Eternal Kingdom. His clone is actually not much different from the deity. The only thing worse is the power of the beast god. The beast weapon is on the deity, and the clone cannot use the power of the beast god. But he still has the power of the stars. Before leaving the clone, he injected all the power of the starry sky into the body. Can maintain a peak state for 1 hour. But it cannot be added later. There is only 1 hour of time. Time has passed. Then his clone will only have 100,000 times the basic divine power, which is the same as the ordinary calamity realm. Can't even threaten the air. At that time, Jian Wushuang would also give up on his own initiative. Who? Jian Wushuang's deity turned into a green grass and fell on the green grassland, trampled by wolves at will. Just like ordinary grass, extremely tough. The clone has entered the eternal realm. At the moment he entered the Eternal Kingdom, Jian Wushuang felt a powerful blood force. That is the breath of the eternal race. This is a very mysterious ethnic group. Is a branch of the human race, belonging to the acquired mutant. The ancestor who opened up the Eternal Kingdom is a half-step in 8 tribulation realm. I am afraid that I have fallen asleep without falling. The ancestor created the eternal family, which has been reproducing since the time of the fall of the goddess, and it is still very prosperous. I heard that the contemporary emperor of the Eternal Kingdom is the Lord of the universe in the 6 tribulations realm. Chapter 5699 is very famous in Gumu continent, comparable to Shirxiao. The strength and weakness of the eternal clan are all related to blood. The contemporary emperor has awakened the pinnacle bloodline of the eternal race, from the emperor to become the master of the universe of the 5 tribulations, and then stabilized his strength again and stepped into the 6 tribulations. Is only slightly weaker than that ancestor. Jian Wushuang also knows the special eternal race from some messages. The eternal race, since the ancestor opened it up, the Lord of the 6 tribulations realm universe has been born countless. But in the 7 tribulations realm, there is only one ancestor. If it's an ordinary family power, it's normal. But the 6 tribulations realm where the eternal clan was born is no less than 100, and there is no second 7 tribulations realm. It seems that the malpractice of the eternal family is related to the ancestor. Jian Wushuang guessed in his heart. The ancestor of the eternal race if it is a great power in the 8 tribulations realm. I am afraid that there will be a large number of 7 tribulations in Hui. If it reaches the 9 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang couldn't believe it. The eternal race is indeed very special and very powerful. He also admired the ancestor of the eternal race even more. It's a pity that after becoming the dispersed tribulation realm, the ancestor himself could not improve his strength, and Hui could not break through the cage. Why is this again? Admire and admire. But he couldn't understand why the ancestor cared so much about the younger generation. If the blood connection of the eternal race is cut off, I am afraid that the ancestor will never stop in the half-step 8 tribulation realm. Not right. Maybe without the blood of Hui erupting, that ancestor may not be able to achieve half a step in the 8 tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang seemed to understand. Complement each other. How could it be what he thought? This time coming to the eternal kingdom. Anyway, it was not for the eternal family, so he didn't think much about it. The family of Song Biao and Nikuan belonged to the subsidiary power of the eternal family, and there was no family power at all. In the eternal kingdom, the eternal race is the sky. There is no master of the universe of the 7 tribulations realm, but the master of the universe of the 6 tribulations realm, but a large number of them have been born. Almost every eternal race has the Lord of the universe of the 6 tribulations realm, has a profound background. So in the eternal kingdom, there is no power that can compete with the eternal race. Most of those 7-star sects were already dilapidated, and they couldn't hold it back at all by relying on the Lord of the universe in the 5 tribulations realm. In the eternal kingdom there is no right to speak. Therefore, many Tianjiao of the affiliated forces will enter the palace of King Zong, opened up by the eternal realm. Cultivating together with Tianjiao of the eternal clan, the status is also based on the strength, and it is completely fair, regardless of origin. This is pretty good. If it is an ordinary country, the royal family must be superior. Just like the Yu Kingdom, Wuli has been complaining about it, which may also be related to the system of the eternal kingdom. Not good. Song Biao directly sat up in the battleship, his expression gloomy. When Jian Wushuang heard this, he thought the other party had spotted him, and he was ready to take action the next moment. What's the matter? Enai Koan also got up, seeing Sang Biao's gaffe. He understood the importance of the matter, and immediately asked. The divine power in his body also exploded at the same time. Sang Biao said with a sullen face, resenting. We are wanted by people. They are from the Gumu faction. They have already arrived in the capital. The family member just sent me a message. Let us both run to the outer domain. Wanted? How is it possible? The two of us didn't seem to offend the Gumu faction. Enai Koan was taken aback. He thought about it carefully, and he didn't figure out why he was wanted by the Gumu faction. And it seems that the family and the eternal family are about to give up both of them. Otherwise, they won't let them run away. If it is an ordinary little thing, there will be the eternal race to help them settle it. Is his own after all. If he is taken away by the Gumu faction, how will he be mixed up in the future? The eternal kingdom, that is also the top 3 superpowers, ordinary trivial things. The Gumu sect will never offend the eternal kingdom for their 2 emperors. This time, they must have done something unforgivable. Otherwise, they won't be allowed to run directly to Outland. Isn't this to disassociate themselves from them? It must be the female emperor of the Yu Kingdom. Enai Koan quickly figured out, and then said, she is really vicious and doesn't want to offend the eternal kingdom. She turned around and sold the 2 of us to the Gumu faction. Song Biao nodded. Both of them knew the special power of death. That is absolutely forbidden. It would be okay if the treasure contaminated with the power of death was used. But the 2 of them used the power of death. And the 2 of them are only emperors. And they must feel that there is someone behind them. That's why I came to investigate. The eternal race knew this was the reason, so they abandoned them. Jian Wushuang also understood. I feel a little regretful. If these 2 people really run to Outland, he will have to give up tracking and prepare to shoot directly. Now he is not in a hurry. The so-called authorities are fans and bystanders clear. These 2 are dying, and they haven't seen the situation clearly. Since the involvement is so large, The Eternal Clan might be utterly distracted in order to separate the relationship. It's just a guise to let them run to the Outland. When they get to the Outland, it is true that they will be killed directly. In this way, I am afraid that the Eternal Clan also has a certain connection with that Bobby D. Unknowingly, Jian Wushuang has fallen into another game of chess. Now he is still a chess watcher. It depends on how he wants to make a move. And Jian Wushuang's thoughts spread in a wide range, and he has been on guard, really making his guess right. Sure enough, a powerful man from the Three Tribulations realm rushed towards this side, and it seemed that he had come to kill his mouth. A black robe is wrapped tightly, and the breath on his body is also hidden by some kind of treasure. The two inside the battleship are still arguing stupidly. I am running straight now, or go to seek refuge with Lord Bobby. Jian Wushuang is thinking about the next step. Once involved is a tripartite force. The Gumu faction who vows to destroy the power of death. The Eternal Family who hides the power of death. Finally, there is the Bobby D who can manipulate the power of death. The first two are in the light, while the latter is in the dark. If Jian Wushuang was inserted in, it would be bright and dark. The choice is up to him. Once the Black Robe powerhouse comes, these two will die. When all the dust settles, he will also lose all the news about Bobby D. Can only disperse the clones and return to Vietnam in a dingy manner. If they rescued these two people, they would then be designed to take them to find Bobby D, while leaving some clues to attract people from the ancient wood school. Take advantage of strength. This might be more perfect. War. Jian Wushuang had war intent in his eyes. He was going to see who the Bobby Emperor was, and whether it had anything to do with extinction. Relying on the clone on the battleship, directly escaped and landed on the land. Chapter 5700. Just sinking. The battleship has disappeared into the sky. But the traces left on the top will not disappear. Jian Wushuang is not in a hurry. After a short while, a frightening atmosphere flew above the head easily. Is the strong black robe, Three Tribulation Realm powerhouse. Is not the Lord of the Universe, nor is it a member of the Eternal Race. Is probably a dead man raised by the Eternal Clan. This kind of thing still needs a clean person to do it. The black-robed old man just caught up. Jian Wushuang leaned over with his heel. The plan has just begun. Since Jian Wushuang wants to enter the game, he has to stand his temper. Until the critical moment, never make a move. The distance between the black-robed old man and the battleship is getting closer and closer. And the two people inside the battleship also discovered something wrong at this time, and felt a sense of horror. When wanted to avoid, it was too late. A huge black air column soared into the sky, directly piercing the battleship through. Who is it? The two flew out at the same time, all in a panic. When they saw the black robe old man, their eyelids jumped wildly. The powerhouse of the Three Tribulation Realm. Although he is not the Lord of the Universe, it is just a robbery, but it is not something that the two of them can deal with. Is just an emperor after all. The powerhouse of the Three Tribulations Realm, but has a divine power of 200,000. Senior, why did you sneak attack on us? Sang Biao still didn't want to give up at this time, and wanted to delay time. Transmitted the sound to the family. Can now ask for help just like death. Both the family and the Eternal Family gave them up. Abandoned child can't live. You just need to die with peace of mind. The black robe old man didn't talk nonsense, and directly attacked the killer. 200,000 supernatural powers, all erupted, and directly killed Song Biao and Nikuan. Go! Ni Kuan yelled, and the power of death on his body climbed again. Can face a strong man in the Three Tribulations realm, and they have gone away. The black-robed strong man shook his hand with one hand, and a huge wave of energy was thrown out of the palm of his hand, which was as dazzling as the sun, and swallowed the two directly. This air wave contains 200,000 divine powers. How can it be blocked by two emperors? Am not reconciled. Ni Kuan frantically resisted, but it didn't have any effect. Song Biao began to beg for mercy, and said everything about Bobby D. The black-robed strong man was unmoved. He used his hand again, trying to kill both of them directly. At the critical time, a black mist suddenly rose. Jian Wushuang with black flames all over his body attacked from the rear, and his breath had been transformed into the power of death. This power of death is not pure. It is he extracted from the power of all things. Is covered on the power of the starry sky, and most people cannot see it. This is to trick Inai Kuan and Songbiao into preparations. This seat, by the order of Lord Bobby, come to rescue you too. Jian Wushuang even changed his voice, picked it up and opened the space, freeing the two people in the air wave. The two people who were already desperate, now that they were rescued, how dare they think too much and nod their heads frantically. At this moment, where Jian Wushuang let them go, they had no objection. The black robe expert frowned when he saw Jian Wushuang. He is just a dead man in the eternal kingdom, and the inside story may not be known as much as Songbiao and others know. Jian Wushuang would not understand him at all. Thank you, senior, for your help. After Inai Kun's breath recovered, he quickly bowed and thanked him. Especially when I heard that Jian Wushuang was on the order of Lord Bobby D. My heart was even more grateful. You first go to Lord Bobby. This person will be handed over to me. Jian Wu's double-faced color was cold, and he directly informed the two in a commanding tone. Songbiao and Inai Kuan were stunned for a moment, then they turned around and fled. The black robe powerhouse wanted to stop, but was defended by Jian Wushuang. This fellow Taoist, why bother to shoot at the two little guys? Why not play with me? Jian Wushuang moved his wrist. The black-robed strong man had a calm complexion. First, the Eternal Clan was informed by the sound transmission, and then he said, "You shouldn't stop me." "Haha, are you?" Jian Wushuang leaked a smile, looked down at the mundane city underneath, and said, "How about changing to a place with no one?" "No need." The strong black robe clenched his fists violently. His aura rose again, his arms spread out, and the nearby hundreds of millions of miles instantly turned into coke. The next moment he quietly shot, and went straight to Jian Wushuang. 200,000 supernatural powers burst out with all their strength. A murder is to pay for your life. Jian Wushuang set his posture, and when the black robe powerhouse rushed in, the surrounding space was instantly shattered, and his figure disappeared in place. The old man in black robe is very experienced. At the moment he disappeared, he had already captured his breath, reached the footing position of Jian Wushuang ahead of time, and directly hit Jian Wushuang's younger generation with a palm. The inner armor of the eternal treasure unshattered directly. The treasures he carries with him are all eternal treasures. Can fight against the powerhouse at the level of the robbery, the eternal treasure. It is not enough to see. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang is a superpower who relies purely on strength. After eating a boring loss, he understood that he still needs to use some strength if he wants to drag the opponent. The key to this battle is not only to stop the opponent, but also to make a large enough movement. Let the people of the ancient wood school notice. Those people now should be in the eternal kingdom. As long as a strong enough breath erupts, it can attract the other party's attention. Although the comprehensive strength of the eternal kingdom is very strong, but the strong are also very limited. For example, fighting at the Four Tribulations realm level is enough to cause a sensation in the entire eternal kingdom. The superpowers of the Five Tribulations realm rarely take action in the ancient wood continent. Is usually when going to the outer domain to make a move. Otherwise, the ancient wood continent would have been shattered long ago. These top powerhouses also have a tacit understanding. If you can't do it in ancient wood continent, you won't do it in ancient wood continent. Therefore, the top powerhouses in the Five Tribulations realm would generally not make moves in the ancient wood continent. 9 days and 10 places, there are already some lessons learned. The continents destroyed by the power of death, but a vigilance. Destroying another continent would be a great burden on Guyu time and space. Jian Wushuang clenched his fists with both hands, his eyebrows flickered, and he shouted angrily, "Ah!" Ha! The breath of the whole body began to skyrocket. Songbiao and Inai Kuan have already left, and he has nothing to hide. Directly burst out the power of the starry sky. Although he is a clone, His combat power can now approach the peak of the Three Tribulations realm. And he is also the Lord of the universe. Is not comparable to these wastes in the scattered tribulation realm. The power of the starry sky burst out, and a gust of wind blew, and the black-robed old man who was blowing was a little unstable, stared at Jian Wushuang in surprise, and was even more curious. When did the Eternal Kingdom appear such a strong man? He had never heard of it. Chapter 57:01. Are you in the Four Tribulations realm? The black-robe elder dared not say anything. He could see that Jian Wushuang had no universe, but he could explode so much stronger aura than him. This shows that the other party may be a powerhouse in the Four Tribulations realm. Only this is possible. He would never think that Jian Wushuang was an emperor, so he didn't master the universe. Surrounded by a blue arc, Jian Wushuang stretched out a finger. If it weren't for me to have something important, you wouldn't deserve to let me use my full strength. This is not to frighten the other party. He can explode 200,000 divine powers by relying on the power of the beast under normal conditions, plus the strong vitality, sling a Three Tribulations realm with ease. It's a pity that he is now a clone, and also thinking of attracting the strong from the Guma faction. That's why it will explode in full strength. Go to hell. Jian Wushuang gathered qi with one hand, and a blue divine sword appeared in his hand, and the power of killing flooded the sky. The black-robe powerhouse stared his eyes wide, and at this moment he saw the origin of Jian Wushuang. 6,000 black holes, and a cosmic mystery are shining brightly. The original power beyond his imagination, instantly attacked and killed. In the ancient moon, time and space dominated by divine power. 1,000 black holes are the masters of the universe. In other words, Jian Wushuang's original background is 6 times that of the Lord of the ordinary universe. Of course, this is not considered combat power. His origin is 6 times that of the masters of ordinary universes, but his divine power is much worse. After all, the opponent is dominated by divine power. The origin is only to improve the realm. Divine power is the main thing, and it is about power to break the 10,000 laws. Unfortunately, no one can do it. Even Jian Wushuang didn't believe this. The black-robed powerhouse passed Jian Wushuang's message to the Eternal Clan before he fell. The Lord of the Universe in the Four Tribulations realm. Hearing this news, the strong of the eternal race was very surprised. Regardless of why a cosmic master of the Four Tribulations realm suddenly appeared, just talk about the identity of the other party. A strong one sent by Bobby D? In the ancient hall, a master of the Five Tribulations realm universe was furious. His hand stretched too long. Obviously I really believed it. In fact, there are not many connections between the Eternal Clan and Bobby D. The two are not a cooperative relationship, nor a relationship between superiors and subordinates. More like the same kind. Originally wanted to help, but after discovering that the other party not only didn't appreciate them, but also complained about them, he stopped paying attention. If Jian Wushuang knew, I'm afraid he would laugh out loud. He was originally worried that the Eternal Clan would notify Bobby D. It now appears that the two have nothing to do with each other. Master, what to do next? Outside the ancient hall stood an old servant in black robe, who was a powerful saboteur in the Five Tribulations realm. The Lord of the Universe in the main hall pondered for a moment, and then said coldly, "Let the people of the ancient wood school go in, just to teach Bobby D some lessons. Let him understand that this is the Eternal Kingdom, not the filthy outside world. Land." Yes. The black-robed old servant respectfully took his orders. On the other side, the strong man of the Guma school was restless at a banquet. They were here to find clues to the power of death, but they were forced to drink by a Four Tribulation realm universe Lord of the Eternal Clan. But this face has to be given. After all, it's the opponent's chassis. As the saying goes, a strong dragon does not crush a snake. What's more, the other party also promised to help them to find out the news, and they were too cold to leave. Can only wait. But the banquet also has an end. They don't believe it. It will continue forever. Brother Qingtian, I just received news that the two people you want to find are in the rioting Shanghai in your country. Hearing this, the man in the green shirt suddenly revealed his joy. He thought it was the eternal kingdom to make things difficult for them. But he didn't expect to let them find it. In that case, I won't be bothering here. Taoist Qing Tian clasped his fists slightly and greeted everyone to prepare for departure. Brother Qing Tian is too polite. Are you a guest? If you need help, please tell me at any time. Must. Taoist Qing Tian didn't dare to delay and left directly with others. He himself is the master of the universe in the Four Tribulations realm. With 2 masters of the Four Tribulations realm and 4 masters of the universe in the Three Tribulations realm. The 4 masters of the universe in the Three Tribulations realm were all newly promoted Tianjios of the Gumu sect. The 2 robbers of the Four Tribulations realm possessed a divine power of over 300,000. As for his own combat power, it is even more terrifying. The pinnacle of the Four Tribulations realm, the master of the universe, and a superpower who is not far from the Five Tribulations realm. His divine power has reached an incredible level. His breath envelopes everyone. The speed is extremely fast, and it only takes an hour to reach the rioting sea of stars. That is the only unstable region in the Eternal Kingdom. Wild beasts are rampant, and demons are repaired everywhere. But for them, these are not obstacles. On the other side, after Jian Wushuang destroyed the black-robed dead soldier, he found the aura left on the bodies of the 2 Songbiao and followed all the way. The speed of the 2 was not slow. Jian Wushuang could only fly slowly in order not to waste the power of the starry sky. While he was chasing, he was also leaving some breath on his body, so that the strong guys of the Gumu faction could follow. Soon, he felt the breath of the 2 Songbiao has entered the riot sea of stars. Even here, Jian Wushuang's expression changed slightly when he felt the chaotic atmosphere in the riot star sea, and he also understood why Emperor Bobby was hiding here. It is too difficult to find the breath of practitioners here. Fortunately, the aura left by Jian Wushuang was very special. It was the power of the stars. Others couldn't detect it at all. Only he could feel the breath. Otherwise, you will be lost. I don't know, did the Gumu sect people keep up? Jian Wushuang was still worried about the Gumu sect at this time. He was afraid that these people would be too stupid. In case he couldn't keep up, even if he found Bobby D, he would not be able to solve the opponent, let alone find the source of the power of death from the opponent. So he needs external force. The Qingtian Taoist of the Gumu sect, but Zhao Jian Wushuang entered the riot star sea in one step. But the atmosphere here is messy, they search around like headless flies. And there is the breath of the emperor. Taoist Qingtian stopped on a huge reef, and he felt a breath from the emperor. He raised his brows and greeted everyone to surround him, so as not to let the other party run away again. Jian Wushuang had been keeping a distance from the 2 Songbiao, so he flew very slowly. At this moment, I also felt that there were several auras coming, and I understood it instantly. This time he was careless, and did not hide himself in order to leave clues to the Gumu sect. As a result, the Gumu sect came too quickly, surrounded him. Boy, you'd better not resist. A master of the universe of the Three Tribulations realm of the Gumu sect discovered that Jian Wushuang was just a slightly stronger emperor, and he was very relaxed and without any defense. He just went to grab the sword. Wushuang. Chapter 5702. Taoist Qingtian felt that something was wrong, and hurriedly shouted angrily, "Don't get close to him." He rushed to Jian Wushuang as he said. But the Lord of the Universe was about to touch Jian Wushuang. Hearing Taoist Qingshan's call, he was stunned for a moment, then turned his head and glanced at Taoist Qingtian. But because of this oversight, Jian Wushuang instantly exploded with the power of the starry sky, and his strength suddenly skyrocketed. If his current combat power is converted into divine power, at least 300,000, the pinnacle of the Lord of the Three Tribulations universe, Jian Wushuang directly pierced the chest of the newly promoted universe master with one hand. In just an instant, it broke the opponent's divine body and pinched the opponent's cosmic origin. "Don't come here." Jian Wushuang shouted angrily. Get closer, I will kill him. At this time, the plan was a little messy, and he could only make the best move. Attract these people first and don't act rashly. When Song Biao and Inai Kuan find Bobby D, he will attract these people to go. Hurry up, Jian Wushuang prayed in his heart. Taoist Qing Tian came to Jian Wufang in an instant, staring at him with a gloomy expression. Even if you kill him today, you will fall. It's better to cooperate with me, and I will save your life. Taoist Qing Tian did not lose sight of being a strong veteran, so he came up to Jian Wushuang's dominance. Jian Wushuang sneered. Are you threatening me? You can understand it like that. Taoist Qing Tian had a calm face, and he gambling on Jian Wushuang didn't dare to fight. But he didn't know that Jian Wushuang was just a clone. There is something he dare not gamble on. The big deal is that the clone has fallen, so he can get another perfect clone. Moreover, in order to ensure that he is foolproof, the deity has refined a second perfect clone, and is coming. When this clone of him falls, the second clone will be connected, so he didn't worry about falling down at all. The only thing he worries about now is that the two fools, Sang Biao and Inai Kuan, have lost their way. They have been in the rioting Star Sea for so long, and they have been going around in circles. I don't know if I can find Bobby D. At the same time, he was also worried about the arrival of the Gumu faction early, and whether Bobby Emperor would be wary. What should I do if I don't come out then? Sang Biao and Inai Kuan are just abandoned sons, and Bobby D will not make a head for these two. Then there is only one last way left, and that is to actively expose the power of life and act as a bait by yourself. Since the opponent can manipulate the power of death, he definitely needs to understand the power of life. Once displayed, you will feel it for the first time. He doesn't need to take the initiative to look for it then. Maybe he will bring people to kill. He can sit in the mountains and watch tigers fight, and fish in troubled waters. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang sensed Inai Kuan and Sang Biao again, but found that the two had stayed in one place, and were not moving. That direction is very close to here, and it only takes a stick of incense to get there. Had it not been for these people, he would have arrived early now. Since you want to cooperate, at least you have to show some sincerity. Jian Wushuang stepped back while tentatively saying, I know what you are here for, it's best not to do it now. Thanks, Tusk, Taoist Qing Tian said in surprise. Are you afraid that I will expose my strength and scare away the people who want to save you? Jian Wushuang admired him really well. It's a pity that I thought about the wrong place. If you have a clearer mind, you won't think about it. He is just a small character. In order to attract the big fish behind, he shouldn't be shot at this time. Can't you follow it secretly? Jian Wushuang complained in his heart. A good plan has been destroyed, but fortunately there is still room for remedy. But he knew that everything in the entire riot Star Sea had already been captured by Emperor Bobby. In the core of the rioting Star Sea, there is a diamond-shaped flying boat, like a sharp pillar up and down, standing deep in the bottom of the sea. Inside the flying boat, there are several layers. In the core layer of the last layer, there is one tall and one short. Where two aliens stand, there is a huge sky in front of them. The figures of Jian Wushuang, Qing Tian and others were clearly visible. Together with Sang Biao and Inai Kuan, he also has a panoramic view. Master Bobby, do you need to solve these people? The tall alien powerhouse is extremely respectful to Emperor Bobby, like a slave. Short and thin, but with a huge head. Bobby D shook his head and jokingly said, It's a pity to kill a few living masters of the universe. Dylan, you go pick up those two wastes. I will follow up and introduce them into the space-time flying boat, and play with them. Yes. Dylan respectfully took his orders, and then disappeared in a flash. Outside world. Sang Biao and Inai Kuan were nowhere near shouting directly. The two of them have been spinning around in the rioting Star Sea, and they couldn't find the flying boat where Lord Bobby was staying. Damn, I would have waited for that senior if I knew it. Inai Kuan was very upset. At this time, Sang Biao was a little more sober, and felt something was not quite right. He reminded, This matter, is it too weird? Lord Bobby sent someone to rescue us. It stands to reason that there should be others. It's right for someone to respond. How old are you? Let someone answer. Enai Kuan sneered. But when he said this, both of them were stunned. There is nothing wrong with this. The two emperors of them are nothing. Lord Bobby, why would you save them both? Without waiting for them to think more, a burly figure appeared in front of the two of them. Master Dylan. Enai Kuan looked happy when he saw the visitor. But Sang Biao had hesitation and worry in his heart. The opponent is the first general under Lord Bobby's command, a super powerhouse in the Five Tribulations realm. Why would you pay attention to these two little ones? Even if it is a response, it is enough to send out an ordinary tribulation realm. There is no need for such a fierce person to come out and pick them up. At the same time, the two saw the flying boat docked in time and space. The lair of Bobby D. Follow me in. Lord Bobby wants to see you too. A black mark appeared on Dylan's eyebrows like a unique totem. At the moment when they saw Feijo, the same pattern appeared on the eyebrows of Sang Biao and Enai Kuan. This is the mark of life. It was planted by Emperor Bobby for the two of them, and could control the life and death of the two, or directly order the two of them. It was a kind of slavery, but the slavery to Sang Biao and the others was simple, and no one could see it without using secret techniques. But the slavery of Dylan was a deep slavery. Sang Biao and Enai Kuan fell into a state of selflessness at the same time, and followed Dylan into the flying boat in a straightforward manner. On Jian Wushuang's side, at the moment Dylan appeared, he felt an aura that combined with the power of death. His eyes flashed, and the blue aura on his body suddenly soared, directly breaking through the Four Tribulations realms, dispersing Tribulation powerhouse behind. Chapter 5703. Dare you? Daoist Qing Tian shouted angrily, exploded directly, jumped up, and instantly caught up with Jian Wushuang. But when he caught up with Jian Wushuang, he was taken aback for a moment, and his speed was greatly reduced. Because he also felt that powerful breath, the owner of that breath was not weaker than him. Even stronger. Dylan, the strong man in the Five Tribulations realm. It is much stronger than the Master of the Universe in the Four Tribulations realm. Feeling the aura he was looking for, Daoist Qingtian stared at Jian Wushuang, who was fleeing ahead with some doubts. The more he looked, the more he felt that Jian Wushuang seemed to be tempting him to go. But this is fine. And he also notified the Stone Kings who were closer to this place. The emergence of the power of death requires everyone to eliminate it. The Guma faction is too far away from here, and it will take at least a few days to reinforce it. He also did not expect that the death power operator that appeared this time would be so powerful. I originally thought it was some ordinary characters, but I didn't expect that there would be a Five Tribulation realm powerhouse appearing. He stared at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang also looked at him. Daoist Qingtian deliberately slowed down, trying to keep up and find out. But I don't know that both of them have entered the full set. As soon as Dylan's breath disappeared, Jian Wushuang suddenly felt bad. Because that breath is closer. He could feel Dylan's breath in advance, and Dylan could also feel their breath. What's more, this is the other side's territory, and the unscrupulous exposure of people like them here will not be detected. He has a unique method of detection, and the opponent can manipulate the power of death. And I am afraid that he can also feel the breath of other strong people in this chaotic place. Not good. Daoist Qingtian also felt the aura of approaching, just about to remind, but it was too late. Dylan's figure has appeared in front of everyone. The Four Tribulation realm and San Tribulation realm powerhouse, who wanted to catch up with Jian Wushuang from the left side, ran into Dylan head-on. Die! Dylan's palm was deep, facing the Fang's life gate. A powerful divine power instantly tore the Four Tribulations realm into powder. Jian Wushuang's heart jumped at the sight, and he threw the Master of the Three Tribulations realm universe at Dylan in one hand. And he stepped back and wanted to get closer to Daoist Qingtian. Daoist Qingtian, who watched this scene, cursed secretly in his heart. He had long felt that Jian Wushuang was a little bit wrong, and the result was just as he expected. Thief, dare you? Qingtian couldn't take care of so much, so he could only bite the bullet and save the Lord of the Universe. As for Jian Wushuang, he didn't have time to deal with it. In this way, they were fighting with 2 shots, and it had nothing to do with Jian Wushuang. But Dylan's approach was to surprise Jian Wushuang, who had just stabilized his figure. The burly Dylan didn't attack the master of the 3 Tribulations Realm universe, because Lord Bobby had previously explained that these people are still useful. As for the 4 Tribulation Realm powerhouse who was caught by him in a flash, it was just a loose tribulation, and it was useless to enter the flying boat. The main reason is that he didn't have to master the power in his body and killed him accidentally. Dylan, you still don't do it. Jian Wushuang had a thought on Nikuan. Although it was disconnected now, he knew the name of the other party when they met. Hearing Jian Wushuang's cry, Dylan slowly turned his head, his eyes leaking fiercely. With just a glance, Jian Wushuang shut up. The strong sense of oppression made him somewhat unable to breathe. The superpower in the 5 Tribulations realm. Although the origin of the universe has been shattered, the remaining power still cannot be seen directly by ordinary strong people. Even Taoist Qing Tian felt his chest dull, with a strong sense of oppression. Fortunately, Dylan didn't make a move, which made Qing Tian breathe a sigh of relief, and he didn't dare to step forward. In my heart, I can only pray that the strong of the Stone Country will come quickly. Once they do it, people like them can't hold it for long. What's more, he didn't know if there was any strong behind Dylan. Jian Wushuang's complexion wasn't too pretty, but fortunately, he was careful this time. Only a clone came. Otherwise I have to fall down today. The guy named Bobby D hasn't appeared yet. To be able to make Dylan such a powerful dispersion realm powerhouse as his subordinates, I am afraid that the strength of Baby Emperor is much stronger than Dylan. Very likely to be a super powerhouse in the 6 Tribulations realm. How to do? For a while, everyone was in a stalemate in midair. Do you go in by yourself, or do I throw you in? Dylan stroked his finger and opened a crack in his back. The interior is pitch black, and you can't see anything. After finishing speaking, he threw the Master of the Universe in the 3 Tribulations realm in his hand. After the only remaining strong man in the dispersing Tribulation realm, who directly transmitted the sound of the Qingtian Taoist, was broken, his figure was a flash and directly wrapped the 3 cosmic masters behind him with divine power. Judging from the posture, he is ready to run. Jian Wushuang had just reacted, and he felt a burst of powerful divine power growth. It was the old man in the 9-sleeved robe, the 4 Tribulation realm powerhouse. Even though it is Sand Tribulation, at this moment, it has exploded with more than 330,000 divine powers. Before Dylan made a move, he was in front of Dylan in an instant. Exhausting the power of the whole body, his hands gathered chi into a column, and the muffled sound of breaking the sky broke out. The gloomy black breath burst out instantly. Jian Wushuang watched carefully. The 4 Tribulations realm powerhouse directly burned the divine body. This is desperate. Qing Tian fled quickly without looking back. Jian Wushuang didn't care. He was a clone, and it was too naive to want to escape from a 5 Tribulations realm powerhouse. Taoist Qing Tian is the master of the universe in the 4 Tribulations realm. He has this information, but Jian Wushuang does not. There is a big gap between the Lord of the Universe and the powerful dispersal. After all, there is a source of supernatural power. The divine body is not easy to recover, but the origin recovers quickly. Moreover, the divine power blessed by the source is extremely powerful and can often double the combat power. Of course, this is comprehensive combat power. Under normal circumstances, the 4 Tribulations realm can burst out of 350,000 times the limit of divine power. But the Lord of the Universe in the 4 Tribulations realm could burst out 400,000. And there is no upper limit. Heaven-defying ones can explode 500,000 times divine power. www.novel.com. Because Sanjia realm has no divine power source, it can't explode that powerful divine power at all. 350,000 times the divine power is already the limit. Even if there is a power that exceeds this divine power, it will cause the divine body to burst if it wants to burst out. The gain is not worth the loss. When Dylan felt the divine power on the opponent's body at close range, the corners of his mouth rose. The divine powers of other robbers were fixed on a certain value, but he does not have this limit. Because Lord Bobby had transformed his divine body, there is no vitality in his body at all, but the endless power of death. It was already a dead person. No matter how it broke out, it was the same. Chapter 5704. Is it possible that the dead can still die again? Boom. The breath of Dylan's body was completely unfolded, facing the robbery strong man with 9 patterned sleeves. Just a simple punch. This punch seemed ordinary, but it contained the power of death. The 4 Tribulations Realm powerhouse had just taken action to resist, but found that his arm burst directly. A whirlwind shattered his body in half. The divine body was also completely shattered. So unbeaten, Dylan sneered, and blasted another punch, this time directly shattering the opponent's chest. The 4 Tribulations Realm powerhouse who had fallen into a half-dead state was directly thrown into the crack by Dylan. There is the entrance of the flying boat. Jian Wushuang also understood somewhat. The other party didn't want them to die so easily. After solving the 4 Tribulations Realm powerhouse, Dylan jumped up. His divine power increased again, and after a leap, he caught up with Qing Tian and the others who had escaped a long way. While chasing these people, he did not forget to glance at Jian Wushuang. At just a glance, Jian Wushuang felt that the divine body was a little weak. The divine body of the clone is only 100,000 times. Without the blessing of the beasts, there is no source of divine power, and the unique knowledge of divine power. Only the basic divine body can be used. However, his clone combat power does not rely on the divine body, but uses the power of the stars. When using divine power, Jian Wushuang's arrogance was white. When using the power of the beast god, his arrogance is dark red, and he winks with the beast god soldier. The power of the stars is blue, the same color as the sky. It is also the color that represents his peak. Blue Jian Wushuang. In the same rank, his state is invincible. But facing the 5 tribulations, even if his deity came, there was no hope. But Jian Wushuang still had a feeling of eagerness in his heart. If it is at the peak state, fully display the star catalog. I don't know if he can defeat the opponent. This kind of thing, he can think about it, really want to try. It is not necessary, the risk is too great. Just stay here to play with the clone. There is no need to really work hard. He came here mainly to see if the man who manipulated the power of death was extinct. It now appears that it is not extinction. It's the Bobby Emperor. But whether the two are connected he never knows. He hopes that there is no connection. If the two meet and pursue the same, he should have a headache. Life and death are rivals, you can't get rid of it wherever you go. Mind power, thought power, devouring, all things life, starry sky. He has completed his heart strength. This is the easiest one. And Zhu Jian will almost be able to reach the peak of Daoxin's full heart strength. The power of thought is different, with many thoughts, the most troublesome. His current power of mind is not far from consummation. When he reaches the Lord of the Universe, he will naturally reach the consummation of mind power. As for the power of swallowing, this has no boundaries, and will only grow stronger with strength. It is related to one's own realm, belongs to the realm of space. And this power is not mainstream. It's not like the power of mind, and the power of everything. It's unpopular. In fact, everyone has the power of all things. But compared with him, these people seem to have none. Their everything is single. But his everything is perfect. More perfect than Wan Daolu. The giant race, in the starry sky, is the natural host of all things. That's why he needed the power of all things, and the power of life at the beginning. The force of life corresponds more like a robbery. Replenish vitality. But everything is domineering. Thinking of the origin of the Lord of all things, Jian Wushuang couldn't help trembling. If the Lord of all things is still alive, even in Guyu time and space, they are all super arrogant. Even stronger than that Shixiao. It's a pity that he was born out of time. If he were in the ancient moon time and space, his achievements would not be weaker than Qishan. This is his deepest power to manipulate so far. The power of life can only be regarded as an aid, and it will play a great role in the future universe. Of course, the prerequisite is to have a deep understanding of everything. As for the power of the stars, when mastered, it is even more weird. From peeping, borrowing to mastering extension. More like a blueprint for the future. Just like his origin. In the future, he is the one who wants to light up the stars. That's why we can master such a powerful force in advance. Because this kind of power is too strong, he can't maintain it normally, and only use it when fighting. And the load on him is great. He will not use it when it is not necessary. Moreover, this is the power of the starry sky after he has been mediated by the eternal changes, which is considered to have diluted the power of the starry sky. In the future, after he becomes the Lord of the universe, he must improve the eternal changes. Use the strongest starry sky power. Of course, the power of the starry sky will follow his origin and move forward. When he lights up all the original starry sky, I am afraid that the power of the starry sky will be the most powerful. Now a universe hasn't been lit up, it's still far away. When he lights up a universe, he will directly cross the first 3 calamities and become the Lord of the universe. The strong origin can naturally form the universe in the body. This is something that the 8 tribulations realm can do, and he will be able to do it in the 3 tribulations realm. And it can be a mobile dojo, natural advantage, and then his universe can create life. This is the most terrible. The power of death can create death. The power of life can naturally create life. Thinking of this, Jian Wuxuang raised his brows. Death? Creating death in the universe? Isn't that the loose robbery? He seemed to think of something. Then he looked at Dylan suddenly. At this time, Dylan had already caught up with the 2 Qingtian Dao. The 2 sides fell into a deadly battle. Daoist Qingtian exploded more than 400,000 divine powers. Very powerful. Seeing to be close to Dylan 5 times. But Jian Wuxuang saw it through at a glance. Dylan has something to hide. The black breath erupted from his body. Familiar scene. He had seen it in Inaikuan and Sangbiao. The power of death. Even the emperor can raise tens of thousands of supernatural powers. Not to mention a superpower in the 5 tribulations realm. This power just broke out. Dylan's supernatural power directly soared to more than 500,000. Taoist Qingtian was completely desperate. More than 500,000 supernatural powers. This is already the threshold for the Lord of the 5 tribulations realm universe. He was able to burst out such a powerful strength in his own dojo. And he knew exactly what it meant. Not an opponent at all. In your own dojo, you can fight by stepping up. But this is not his dojo. I am a direct disciple of Master Mu Shui of the Gumu school. Dare you to move me? Qingtian yelled. But the next moment he was beaten by Dylan. The red skin behind Dylan tightly bound Qingtian, hung in front of him, and slammed Qingtian's chest with a punch. Or, you move the Shinmu King out and see if I am afraid. Dylan was very disdainful. Chapter 5705. In his eyes, the 8-star sects are all shit. Once Lord Bobby's plan is successful, the entire Guyu time and space will be theirs. The 9-star sect, Ancient Moon God sect, had to crawl over to polish their shoes. Such an arrogant thought. I don't know that when people know it, a few big teeth will be laughed. Taoist Qingtian was completely desperate. The strength is not good. The background is useless. Can only wait to die. Dylan played for a while, and felt that it was not interesting. So he carried the other 3 people in Qingtian, and returned to the crack together. You want going yet? Dylan looked at Jian Wuxuang. The sword did not change the color of the 2 sides. And there was no intention to shoot, and he strode directly. In front of Dylan he swaggered in. What can he be afraid of? Another clone has arrived nearby. The aura of that clone is very weak, transforming into a piece of rubble floating in the storm. When his clone is finished, let the clone keep staring here. Even if you fall into it this time, it's nothing. Now that his strength is not enough, it does not mean that he will not be enough in the future. As long as you follow each other, sooner or later, you will go to take their lair to see what they are planning. Seeing Jian Wuxuang honestly enter, Dylan sneered and followed with a few people. After they all entered, the crack healed again, as if it had never appeared before. Stone Country. After receiving the Gumu faction's request for help, the royal family held a small meeting first without any haste. Discuss this matter. Although the power of death is a public enemy, but the Gumu faction can't call them 5 or 6, right? If this spreads out, wouldn't the prestige accumulated by their Stone Country collapse all at once? No hurry, when they are almost dead, we will crush our opponents again, so as to enhance the prestige of the Stone Country. The old man in the high position beat the armrest of the throne. There is a lot of approval below. Shurda, you go to the fire demon world. Let the gods dispatch a few fire demon to go together. Be sure to take the other side. Below, a short, lean and strong man got up from his seat to take his command. There is a tail behind him, swaying wantonly. This is a super strong man who transforms his body. Powerful in the 6 tribulations realm. Shurgua has just been dispatched to start, and the Eternal Kingdom has also received a request for help. But the Eternal Kingdom is not perfunctory. Instead, they quickly mobilized several superpowers from the 5 tribulations realm and headed to the Riot Sea of Stars. They weren't trying to help the strong guys of the Gumu faction, but they wanted to kill their mouths. The Eternal Kingdom has a deep relationship with Bobby D. Otherwise, Bobby D would not choose to lurk in the Eternal Realm. Kill them all, leaving none. Below is a group of powerful aliens in the 5 tribulations realm, each with strange shapes. All members are dispatched. The storm immediately gathered in the rioting Star Sea, the bottom layer in the flying boat. Bobby D received a lot of news. There was news from within the Guma school, as well as from the Stone Kingdom and the Eternal Kingdom. He narrowed his eyes and sighed. After planning for so long, he has to implement the plan in advance. For him, the more powerful people come, the better. The best one is the Lord of the Universe. But this time, among the 3 superpowers, the strong ones who came were all Sanji. Obviously, they are not willing to take risks. Even if the Eternal Kingdom cooperates with Bobby D, it is unwilling to let the Lord of the Universe go. On the contrary, the Gumu sect, for the first time, was too careless to let a master of the universe from the 4 tribulations realm go. The Lord of the Universe represents infinite possibilities. Even if the powerhouse who pays the 6 tribulations realm goes to death, Taoist Qingtian must be fished out. After Dylan threw everyone to the top level, his figure followed a hole in the center of the flying boat space and descended directly to the bottom level. Master Bobby, Dylan bowed in salute and stood aside. Everything is ready, you can start. After Dylan heard this, in front of a crystal ball, he began to perform a special magic trick. The top layer of the flying boat. After everyone arrived here, they didn't find anything special. In addition, Dylan left directly, leaving them a bit at a loss. Fortunately, they did not kill them directly. Taoist Qingtian was seriously injured. After scanning the surroundings, he felt that the other party was about to imprison them. So he was relieved. The other cosmic masters of the 3 tribulations realm were a little worried. Jian Wushuang was not worried, but looked around curiously. Hey, aren't you in the same group with them? Among the crowd, the only female Lord of the Universe said to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang ignored the other party. If only it was a group. Taoist Qingtian recruited the beast, and he understood a little now. Instructed that companion not to talk to Jian Wushuang. This time they were careless. Now it's no use saying more. We can only wait for rescue. But before they relax their vigilance, the surrounding space begins to change. The originally small space has become a star. The sky above is deserted and the sky is starry. Be careful, Taoist Qingtian shouted angrily. Even Jian Wushuang was taken aback and quickly rose into the air, only to find that the gravity of this star was very large, which was at least 10,000 times higher than the gravity of the outer world. So that when he got up, he took a while and saw countless purple reptiles rushing out from below. Void. It's a void crawler. He encountered it in the Temple of Qishan. This kind of thing is the most troublesome. He had heard God Frosa say that this kind of reptile came from the stars. The void reptile from the Temple of Qishan was brought by him when he was born from the starry sky and attached to his eggshell. How could there be such a thing here? Jian Wushuang frowned. Qing Tian and others didn't know this kind of creature, and had never seen it before. After discovering that these reptiles were not strong at this time, they all breathed a sigh of relief. The main reason is that these crawlers are too dense, plus they have never seen them before, so they are so gaffs. After discovering that it wasn't a big deal, he didn't take it seriously and killed a large group at will. But Jian Wushuang knew how powerful this reptile was. At the beginning, Frosa told him that once this kind of crawler reaches a certain number, even if the powerhouse of the giant clan encounters it, it will be a headache. Yu reading www.akanshu.com. After all, it was a creature from the stars. Jian Wushuang didn't dare to be careless. Have avoided these reptiles all the time, did not make a move. Qing Tian and others slaughtered at will. After a while, the number of these crawlers did not decrease in any way, but the strength of the single body was continuously strengthened. And Jian Wushuang also discovered that these reptiles carried some power that could corrode the void. The space here has begun to be unstable. Qing Tian and others also discovered something was wrong. Now among them, the only ones who still have combat power are the four masters of the universe in the three tribulations realm. Their divine power has begun to decline. The gravity here is much higher than the outside world, and the corrosive void makes these universe masters unable to mobilize space. Chapter 5706. Divine power also increased very little. Both are 250,000 times the divine power. Taoist Qing Tian resisted the backlash and used divine power to disperse the surrounding void crawlers, but then corroded the collapsed void and crawled out countless void crawlers. The originally complete space is full of loopholes, and in these caves, those void crawlers are still emerging. The first to be unlucky was the Four Tribulations realm powerhouse. He is a strong robber, plus he was severely injured by Dylan. Now he can't hold it anymore. The whole person was plunged into the ocean of void reptiles. After the reptiles contained and eroded, not even a trace of breath remained. Qing Tian looked shocking. Despair. Despair from the bottom of my heart, from the inside out. How could he be so unlucky? He lost his life on just one mission. Lord of the universe with infinite possibilities. The Lord of the universe, who has only survived the four tribulations. He is completely hopeful of becoming the five tribulations realm. Unfortunately, it's going to fall. Jian Wushuang swallowed. This time, it seemed that he couldn't find the answer. Originally thought, the worst would also see that Bobby Emperor. As a result, he didn't even see the other side's face. It's not a pity to be a clone. It's a pity that he's planning. It was defeated just now. Void reptiles piled up like a mountain. Jian Wushuang casually used the starry sky sword intent to kill those hill-like void reptiles. But it can't be killed at all. The lowest level of the flying boat. My lord, they can't hold it anymore. Dylan looked at the sky, looked at the Emperor Bobby. Bobby is not panicked. That kid called Blue Breath is a little weird. There was greed in Bobby's eyes. The more he stared at Jian Wushuang, the more he felt something was wrong. With the fighting power of the Lord of the Universe, there is also the realm of the universe. But I can't feel the death in the opponent's body. Except Jian Wushuang. Those people in the sky have already revealed the aura of death. Because of the death crisis, death will be born. Bobby needs these breaths. Use these chi to condense into the force of death. Can continue to converge to the bottom layer. At this time, a lot of power of death has entered the crystal ball in his hand. These death powers all come from the death aura emitted by the Taoist Qing Tian. But there has never been the power of death on Jian Wushuang. This made Bobby D a little puzzled. Whether it is Sanjia or the Lord of the Universe, before facing death, there will be death aura. Why Jian Wushuang didn't have it on him? Emperor Bobby stroked his hands, and Qing Tian and others in the sky were instantly imprisoned. Only Jian Wushuang can move. Those void crawlers were not thinking about Qing Tian and the others, but rushed towards Jian Wushuang. This makes Jian Wushuang a little surprised. Why is he about to besiege him suddenly? Seeing that Qing Tian and the others were tied up, but did not fall behind, Jian Wushuang also gave up, thinking that these people are no longer good enough. That's why they are restrained. Then he pretended to be dead too. The power of the starry sky can be maintained for half an hour. And he directly lowered his breath and returned to normal. The figure is also submerged in the sea of worms. When Emperor Bobby saw it, he leaked a weird smile. I thought you were capable of resisting it, it won't work. He felt that Jian Wushuang was not simple, but he couldn't see through it. So I don't want Jian Wushuang to fall like that. A flick of his finger also imprisoned Jian Wushuang. Open the next level, restore their origins to the peak. Bobby Emperor said excitedly. Dylan did it correctly. You can't just let them fall. It doesn't matter if you die, but the Lord of the Universe is too useful. Bobby D will continue to extract the power of death from these people. Jian Wushuang's figure became lighter, and the sea of insects in front of him had disappeared. In a blink of an eye, everyone has returned to the flying boat. It's just that they have fallen into another level. This time, the layer is different from the first layer. Here there are 6 treatment chambers. At this moment, they are all soaking in the treatment chamber. The green liquid envelopes the whole body. Jian Wushuang only felt that his body was extremely comfortable. This feeling was too familiar to him. At the same time, I understood what the surrounding green liquid was. That is the source of life. Is it uncomfortable to soak in it? Snapped. Jianwu both looked sideways. A treatment chamber has been broken open internally. The person who walked out was the Qingtian Taoist. His breath returned to its peak. After seeing him recovering, the remaining cosmic masters of the 3 tribulations realm also broke out. It's not that they don't want to soak, but that after the vitality reaches the peak, the soaking down will eat back the body. This kind of advantage can't be taken up. In addition, they came to an unfamiliar space. Life and death were completely out of their own control. How can they be idle to covet the petty bargain? Jian Wushuang was different. He came here to see what the people behind the scenes were doing, and by the way, to see if the Bobby Emperor who manipulated the power of death had any connection with extinction. So I didn't worry at all, just kept soaking. Qingtian and the others also found that Jian Wushuang had been in the treatment chamber, so they leaned over. He didn't seem to have suffered any injuries just now. How come he has been healing? The female master of the universe stared at Jian Wushuang's treatment chamber in surprise. Taoist Qingtian shook his head and reminded, don't worry about so much, he is not the same with us. Let's see if there are any exits around here. You can't wait for death here. Yes, several people searched separately, but Jian Wushuang just soaked. Feel free to absorb the power of life, and then transform it into the power of all things. The power of all things turned into the origin of the universe, and thus became the power of the stars. Although it is not too pure, it is better to have something than nothing. At least he can increase the time to maintain the peak. Being able to delay time here again. What threat is there to make Qingtian and the others stand up to it? The key is that he guessed right. A cage appeared in the middle passage in the cabin. There is still a layer of black cloth on the cage. As for what was in the cage, they didn't know, and didn't want to know. But this can't help them. The black cloth disappeared, and they saw the existence in the cage. The cage also began to weaken at this moment. That being, deep claws directly tore the cage apart. Climbed out of it. Eternal clan. Qingtian was shocked. Absolutely. Is the eternal family. The breath on the body is the same. He has dealt with many powerful people of the eternal race, and he is very clear about their peculiar blood. This fellow Taoist. Qingtian just wanted to put it on. But to comfort the strong man of the eternal race, he straightened up, his body swelled continuously, and eventually evolved into a humanoid beast, and his breath was also skyrocketing. Ouch! There was a roar. The powerhouse of the eternal race directly attacked the nearest master of the 3 tribulations realm universe. Chapter 5707. The sharp claws directly tore the somewhat unlucky master of the universe to pieces. The origin is condensed, and the human body has not yet recovered. The humanoid monster directly grew its mouth, spitting out a venom from the mouth. Along with that venom, there was also a horrible black air column. Qingtian couldn't control that much. Seeing that the Lord of the Universe was about to fall, he hurriedly shot and kicked it out. And the strange beast directly kicked into the wall of the cabin. The strange beast wiped a handful of blood from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes were full of killing intent. After feeling that the strength of the strange beast was not too strong, Qingshan's courage also increased, causing everyone to retreat. I want to deal with it alone. The cabin on the ground floor. But Bobby and Dylan stared at the sky with wide-eyed eyes. So much so that they have forgotten to enhance the supernatural power of the alien beast. As a result, the strange beast was brutally beaten by Taoist Qingtian. Taoist Qingtian, who had recovered to his peak, exploded with more than 400,000 divine power, while the divine power of the strange beast was less than 400,000. In the hands of Qingtian, he has been ravaged. Originally, he was arranged to come in, to force these people to leak the breath of death. As a result, now he himself has begun to fear death. It's just this little power of death that Bobby D simply looks down on. Because he has been staring at Jian Wushuang. A quarter of an hour. Dylan exclaimed. Bobby D took out a white jade kettle, in the shape of a kettle from behind. Is there any extra life left? When Dylan heard this, he shook his head. Go to the third cabin. Drain all the sanctions sent by the eternal race, and then pour it into the kids' treatment chamber. Bobby D ordered. If it is not enough, just take these. The master of the universe is also drained. Dylan was a little surprised, but didn't dare to question, just nodded. But Bobby D poked his hands excitedly, pacing in front of the sky. The more vigorous the vitality, it also represents the stronger the power of death. He never expected that he would encounter such a miraculous thing. A weak master of the universe can actually swallow so much vitality. Then how strong is the power of death that erupts when the opponent is about to die? Bobby D looked forward to. Originally, according to his plan, even if it was advanced and attracted a large number of strong people, it would take a long time to guide. Now it is possible to do it in one step. Get enough death power from Jian Wushuang. And what he will do with the power of death is unknown. In the treatment chamber, Jian Wushuang didn't care about the supplement of life force at all. On the contrary, he felt that these life powers were getting weaker and weaker, not as pure as his. He plans to go out, because after seeing Qingtian beating the strange beast, he felt that there was no danger anymore. If it is really dangerous, he will face it in the treatment room. The life force in the treatment chamber is getting weaker and weaker, and he doesn't bother to transform. Not only is time wasting, every time he is converted, he will consume a certain amount of his origin. In this way, not only does he make no profit, but he also loses. The Qingtian in the cabin became stronger as the battle became stronger, but he couldn't kill the strange beast. He also saw that the strength of this strange beast should not be weaker than him, but it hadn't completely exploded. This made him very puzzled. Obviously there is a very powerful divine power, but it does not explode. What is this going to do? As for Jian Wushuang, he hadn't paid any attention for a long time. He only felt that Jian Wushuang was a little weird. He was very indifferent to death when he was on the upper level, and he did not earn or take away. It was in sharp contrast with the outside world. After he came inside the flying boat, it's more like visiting. Now in the treatment cabin, I have not been able to come out, and I don't know what I am doing. Do you want to break through your origins? Qingtian felt a little funny, but the next moment, he couldn't laugh anymore. Dylan, when Qingtian saw the other party, it was like a mouse seeing a cat, with fear from the bottom of his heart. It was really the blast from the outside world, which left him with a shadow in his heart. Dylan didn't even look at Taoist Qingtian. Instead, he walked towards the eternal group of powerful beasts. When the other party saw Dylan, his expression was similar to Taoist Qingtian. It seems that Dylan has been ravaged. Master Dylan. The alien beast kept backing away, with a bad premonition in his heart. Especially when he saw the jade pot in his hand, he couldn't help but swallowed his saliva. Jian Wushuang in the treatment chamber also saw Dylan's appearance. He originally wanted to appear directly. After seeing the opponent, he suddenly changed his mind. Stay comfortable in the short and thin treatment chamber. I won't go out if I'm killed. Trash! Dylan glanced at the strange beast and grabbed the opponent's head directly from the depth of his arm, so fast that it made people unable to see the movement. The strange beast was caught and could not move. Dylan took the jade pot and inserted it directly into the opponent's chest. Then he saw a green liquid emerging from the opponent's body and entering the jade pot. This scene caused Qingtian and others to keep backing away. What is taken away is life. The strong of the eternal race is Sanjia. Once taken away from life, it also represents death. They never expected that Dylan would even start with himself. Within a few breaths, the vitality of a four-tribulation realm powerhouse was completely drawn, and nothing was left. The flesh became extremely shriveled. Looking at the hollow eyes of the alien beast and the lifeless body, they are all clear and have fallen. Dylan shook the jade pot and felt that the source of life inside was full. So he took the jade pot and went straight to Jian Wushuang's treatment chamber. What is he going to do? Jian Wushuang widened his eyes, with a bad premonition in his heart. When I wanted to destroy the treatment chamber and went out, I found that my whole body was restrained and couldn't move at all. Eternal change. Jian Wushuang broke out with all his strength, and the blue arrogance rose up, directly breaking through the restriction. Boom. The treatment chamber was completely destroyed. Jian Wushuang evaporated all the remaining liquid on his body, staring at Dylan firmly. Watching Jian Wushuang suddenly run away, Dylan was taken aback for a moment and said, "It looks like you have recovered." Looking down at the jade pot in his hand again, feels a bit wasted. After all, it is the vitality of a four-tribulation realm powerhouse. Under everyone's gaze, Dylan held the jade pot and inserted it into his body. But this time it was not to swallow his own vitality, but to absorb the vitality in the jade pot. With such a huge vitality, all absorbed into the body, Dylan's strength skyrocketed again. With the body of Sanjia, it is comparable to the half-step 6 tribulation realm. It's time for you to see what fear is. Dylan threw away the jade pot and shot directly. The violent power is suffocating. The others did see the fear, but Jian Wushuang did not move. He understood now. These people didn't even want to kill them, but wanted to make them desperate. Chapter 5708. I don't know what they think. Anyway, he is not afraid, and if his clone falls he will not lose. I just didn't see the person behind the scenes. Bobby D, staring at Jian Wushuang in the core warehouse at the bottom layer, also saw some problems. At the same time, Dylan's shot was stopped. Dylan's figure was frozen in the air like this, with a dull expression. "Come back, I have a way." Dylan leaked a smirk. In his flying boat, everyone has fear and will face death. No one will make exceptions. He had seen Jian Wushuang's flaws. Seeing Dylan retreating, everyone looked sideways and felt a little flustered in their hearts, not knowing what the other party was going to play. Daoist Qingtian turned his head to look at Jian Wushuang and asked, "You don't know anything about this place?" "What do you mean?" Jian Wushuang rolled his eyes. The other party was too stupid, and he didn't understand now that he was not from the Bobby D group at all. It's just using the Daoist of Qingtian. Seeing Dylan retreat, the central passage in the cabin was also opened. Without any hesitation, Jian Wushuang walked directly towards the passage. He was eager to see that Bobby D quickly and make some words out of the other party's mouth. After falling from the passage and entering the next floor, the layout is exactly the same as the first 2 floors. It seems that it still hasn't reached the core warehouse. After Jian Wushuang looked around for a while, he waited quietly for the opponent's means. At this time, Daoist Qingtian also fell with him. But this time Daoist Qingtian fell directly to the next level, and Jian Wushuang wanted to follow him, but was caught by some kind of power. Along with him are 4 other cosmic masters of the 3 tribulations realm. What happened? Jian Wushuang also leaked a surprised expression. How can it be treated differently? Putting the 5 of them on the first floor. Is there any other use? Without waiting for them to think about it, everyone has been teleported away. In other words, the space of the cabin has been changed, but it is still in the flying boat. 5 people came to a huge coliseum at the same time. There are 5 arenas in the coliseum, one for each of the 5 people. There are no spectators, only the color of barrenness. The fake is fake. Jian Wushuang closed his eyes slightly and observed with his mind. His single thought of the universe can also do this. And when he becomes the master of the universe, it will be able to condense into reality. This method is nothing to him. He had returned to the past in the Mahayana Lingshan. And this kind of illusion is really a pediatrics. Ding. But just when he was disdainful, he felt 5 strange auras coming. He was very familiar with one of them. It's you! 5 people exclaimed at the same time. Jian Wushuang stared at his opponent who appeared on the ring, his eyelids beating. Jiangshang. His opponent was actually Jiangshang. How could it be her? Just when he was surprised, there was an unfamiliar voice in the sky. Haha, little guys, face the fear in your heart. The master of the voice is Bobby D. He used some means to summon the most feared opponent in their hearts. Everyone has fear in their hearts. What Jian Wushuang feared most was extinction. Why did Jiangshang appear? He didn't know that the fears that Bobby Emperor summoned were all from the same level, not opponents that surpassed him too much. There are still people who fear the goddess. He can't make a goddess out. So they are all selected at the same level. Bobby D. Nianli was suspended in the air, waiting for everyone's fear. His real plan was Jian Wushuang. The other masters of the universe, he didn't pay attention to them at all. As for Taoist Qing Tian, he had other plans, because he also had co-workers on the Gumu faction, and he had a close relationship with Qing Tian. So he saved the other party. This doesn't matter. It's nothing more than a master of the universe in the 4 tribulations realm. Think of it as a face to sell to the other party. He is more interested in Jian Wushuang now. One person can absorb so much life force. How strong is the opponent's whole cards? When death comes, all life force will be transformed into death. Let's start. The 5 arenas broke out with terrifying power at the same time. Everyone had a 12-point spirit, ready to fight to the death. These people not only left them with fear, but also hatred. Although Jian Wushuang also broke out with all his strength, he did not have any hatred or fear. It was Jiangshang's unilateral hatred at best. As for fear, he doesn't know. He had heard that Jiangshang's strength was not simple, and even Palace Master Qinglong was not an opponent. Although the Qinglong Palace Lord cannot compare to the Lord of the Universe, he can compare to the ordinary 3 tribulations realm. That Jiangshang's combat power is probably comparable to the Lord of the Universe. But this is not enough. If it was just this strength, he couldn't even beat his clone. Jian Wushuang, you killed my brother. I want you to die. Jiangshang's voice was like a puppet, without any emotion. Directly rushed. Jian Wushuang shook his head and sighed, too weak. While he was fighting against Jiangshang, he could still see other battles in the arena. Those opponents of the Lord of the Universe. Although they were also the Lord of the Universe in the 3 tribulations realm, each one was much stronger than Jiangshang. Some opponents are stronger than his current combat power. Emperor Bobby's gaze also changed. He saw Jian Wushuang's indifferent. Still did not reach the level of fear. And the little girl he summoned out was a bit weak. He narrowed his eyes. And when he looked closely, he suddenly realized that the other party was actually an emperor. He is also an emperor. Emperor Bobby raised his brows and looked at Jian Wushuang. The opponents summoned are all of the same rank. The little girl he summoned was the emperor. So Jian Wushuang was also the emperor. Bobby D was extremely shocked. It was not that the emperor was shocked to have the power of the Lord of the Universe, but it was that Jian Wushuang, an emperor, could absorb so much source of life. Call. He took a breath, and suddenly thought of something. That is a very long time. When the 9 great time and space rivers were extremely prosperous, he followed an extraordinary existence, and took a wooden boat from the starry sky to the time and space river. Before separating from that existence, he knew the pursuit of that existence. Life force. That being has to go to the depths of the long river of time and space to find the power of life. Time and space. The source is the starry sky. You reading www. Akanshu. The end of calm is an unknown area. The long river of time and space in the primitive universe, where Jian Wushuang was located, was very close to the end of the river of time and space. And Emo Luo Shirkong, it is midstream. The 9 core time and space rivers are considered upstream. The endless starry sky is the source. Emperor Bobby recalled that he had left that existence and stayed alone in the 9 great spaces. I don't know how many years have passed now. He recalled the past again. The force of life. It does exist, but he never believed that anyone could create it. Chapter 5709. If you can create the power of life at will, won't you become the creator of all things? He came from the stars and knew more things. I think it's impossible. I just think it's the existence of wishful thinking. When he saw Jian Wushuang today, he was a little convinced. God, treat me well. Bobby Emperor clenched his fists in excitement. He needs the power of death, but also the power of life. On the ring, Jian Wushuang's peak state beat Jiangshang. The sword intent gathered, and the power of the blue starry sky exploded again. It's over. Jian Wushuang tried his best, and didn't want to play with Jiangshang anymore. Both hands gathered the power of the starry sky, condensed into an invisible sword, pulled out from both hands, and directed towards Jiangshang. The blue long sword pierced the space, surrounded by blue arcs crackling. Jiangshang backed away in a hurry, trying to stop him. His hands kept blocking, but he couldn't break free. This was just the transformed Jiangshang. His strength was still the reflection in Jian Wushuang's heart. How powerful is Jian Wushuang said. In fact, he never felt fear of Jiangshang. When the sword of the starry sky was about to completely obliterate the transformed Jiangshang, Jian Wushuang's heart softened. In an instant, he actually stopped the attack. Jiangshang was indeed not afraid of him, nor was he an opponent in his heart. It's just that the hatred in the other party's heart is too deep. That's why it has a causal connection with him. And after being captured by Bobby D, it turns out, the tip of the sword was only an inch away, floating in the center of Jiangshang's eyebrows. Hey! Jian Wushuang sighed, shaking his head. He knew that this was just Jiangshang transformed by Emperor Bobby, but he still didn't want to do it. It was indeed that he should go to Jiangshang at the beginning. Blood sacrifice. This is the black spot of his life that cannot be washed away. If one day, he becomes a super being who masters time and space, and he will definitely resurrect the opponent. To make up for it. In fact, the 2 generals under Misheng's command have a deep hatred with him. Jiangshang's brother died because of his blood sacrifice. Broly's father was killed by Quimon's men, although they all have something to do with. But all of this really needs to be investigated. In fact, it is the Frosa. Who wants revenge is to find Frosa. Jiangshang, I'm sorry. Jian Wushuang's deep palm, manipulating the starry sky divine sword, wanted to completely crush the transformed Jiangshang. I couldn't bear it for a moment, and disappeared at this moment. This is just the transformed Jiangshang. There is no need to be merciful. But just as the tip of the sword pierced the center of Jiangshang's eyebrows, a figure suddenly appeared, pinched the blade with one hand, and snapped it to pieces. Jian Wushuang's body was also shocked. The power of the starry sky burst together with the blue divine sword. Broken power, broken blade. Wow! After the power of the starry sky dissipated, Jian Wushuang saw the figure that appeared. Hui Qing. Jian Wushuang took a step back, a little unbelievable. Hui Qing was dressed in a black robe, and his head was as bare as before. Brother Wushuang. Hui Qing folded her hands and stood side by side with Jiangshang. This is the deepest fear in Jian Wushuang's heart that he does not want to admit. Jian Wushuang's figure was a little unstable, shaking his head and muttering to himself. This is impossible. He saw a hint of luster in Hui Qing's eyes. This is the color that Jiangshang didn't see in his eyes. It doesn't seem to be a phantom at all. It's really you, Jian Wushuang said in surprise. Hui Qing nodded when she heard the sound, and did not speak. When she turned to look at Jiangshang, there was a trace of guilt in her eyes. After getting the affirmation, Jian Wushuang still couldn't believe it. But I don't dare to say too much. After all, this is the world that Emperor Bobby has transformed into. Everything can be fake. Cannot believe. Huiqing touched Jiang Shang's head and said softly, I made you suffer. At this moment, the transformed Jiang Shang seemed to have a trace of emotion, and he recognized Huiqing. And when he looked up at Huiqing, there were tears in his eyes. There is a gap between the master and the apprentice. Huiqing was stupid and didn't think it was a problem, but Jiang Shang is deep in his heart. She knew that Jian Wushuang had an unusual relationship with Huiqing, so she kept suppressing the hatred in her heart. This sentence suffered and completely broke her, because the master still understands her. Jian Wushuang was watching it a bit unpleasantly. In the bottom of my heart, I couldn't believe it. Not only did he not believe it, but even Bobby D was stunned. He was obviously just a phantom character. How could he look more like it was real? And that little girl, when she saw Huiqing, there was obviously a change, and the aura on her body was even more frowning. Familiar breath. At the beginning, the breath of that existence. Impossible. Bobby Emperor didn't let Jian Wushuang fall into fear, but fell into fear himself. Thinking of that person, he shuddered. Can't forget the taste of being dominated. He didn't want to follow the existence to the middle reaches of the long river of time and space, but some kind of big event happened halfway, and escaped from that existence. Now that he has been away for endless years, he feels the aura of that existence again, which is a little hard for him to accept. Ban! Emperor Bobby tried to stop and let Jiang Shang and Huiqing disappear, but there was no change in everything around him, and he was no longer under his control. And there was a voice in his ear that made him extremely frightened. Green-haired monkey. This is the nickname of Bobby D. Only the existence knows. When he came out of the starry sky, Bobby D was covered in green hair, thin and small, just like a monkey. Although there is no green hair now, his skin is still green, his body shape has not changed much from the past, but his head is bigger. Master! Bobby Emperor knelt down in shock. In a daze, he saw the old man carrying the lamp, with a long and narrow body, and wearing a certain rounded pointed hat on his head. That existence is extinction, a terrifying existence from the stars. This is the person who fears the most in Bobby's heart. The extinction phantom floated, and after a glance at Emperor Bobby, it disappeared on its own. He is a strong man in the half-step 7 tribulations realm. Although Bobby's secret method is peculiar, he cannot maintain the illusion of such a strong man. After discovering that breath and disappearing, Emperor Bobby was relieved. As for Jiang Shang and Huiqing, he didn't dare to bother about it anymore, and disappeared directly, waiting for the illusion to disappear automatically. On the ring, the remaining 4 masters of the universe have collapsed. Basically be ravaged. Only Jian Wushuang was still standing on the ring, lingering in his shot. Huiqing, why are you here? Jian Wushuang was puzzled. Being able to follow cause and effect, and allow yourself to enter this place is not a small price. And now Jiang Shang has also awakened his true body, and the expression in his eyes when he looked at Jian Wushuang had even more intense killing intent. The most feared in Jian Wushuang's heart was this moment. Huiqing and Jiang Shang joined forces to deal with him. This makes it difficult for him to accept. Because of her. Huiqing pointed at Jiang Shang, her fingertips suddenly gathering energy and bursting out. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.